going to run it one more time. There is a winner on the hat. I don't think it's a hat you've seen. Oh boy, does RTP talk. He talks so much. He never stops talking. That's what they say about me. Zorro hat. That's a hell of a guess. Zorro hat is quite a guess. I am late. It's Jen's fault. I think everybody knows that. It's always Jen's fault. So take it out on Jen. I actually don't know what happened this morning. I went to go live, and for some reason we don't have TikTok access. And I can go live on TikTok like from my phone, but for some reason we don't have studio access. So I assume Jen will reach out to our TikTok representative, and we'll get that figured out. But for today, no TikTok. So not a bad idea to let your friends know that are over on TikTok. If they ask you why we're not live, let them know we're live over here. And that means we can say whatever the fuck we want today. Take that, TikTok. No bans today. It's going to be unhinged. I wasn't prepared to be unhinged. I was prepared to be on my best behavior. And now that's out the window. Mamdani won yesterday. Shout out to New York. Well done, New York. I'll get to some of that in a minute. It looks like maybe a ceasefire is happening. You never really know. They might be holding to that ceasefire. Pam Bondi testified in front of Congress yesterday. Carrie Lake this morning testifying in front of Congress. Donald Trump is out at the NATO summit, and we're going to cover all of that today. That being said, as Jen always wants me to remind you, we do have a gift goal every day. We are crowdfunded, and anything you can do to help us with that gift goal would be greatly appreciated. We also have paid memberships, and that goes a long way. I don't know how much our paid memberships are, to be honest. We have different ranges, and I do have an announcement probably tomorrow about an upcoming event, which we'll do like a members-only event for that as well. I'm just going to tell you, I have two debates coming up, two scheduled debates on a YouTube channel that we don't own, but I'll let you know. I should have the details on one of them later tonight, and the other one maybe also later tonight. We'll see. But if you are a paid member, either on TikTok, Twitch, or YouTube, you get access to that. So anybody who could help us out in that way would be great too. That being said, let's get into it. You love the hat. I'm so sorry, by the way. I do not remember who made these hats. Whoever made the hats and sent them to me. Are you here? Yippee indeed. Amanda said, good morning, Hat Boy and RTP fam. Good morning, Amanda. Whoever made the hats, are they here? You love Pam Bondi? Come on, Kelly Kim. And welcome back, by the way. You can't love Pam Bondi. You really love Pam Bondi? I think this is one of the disconnects that we currently have, like, between the two parties, is I watched a ton of congressional hearings yesterday, like way too many hours of congressional hearings. And there's a difference. Like, there are some people, like, I forget his name, the energy secretary. Who's the energy secretary? Is that Burgum? No, it wasn't energy secretary. I can't remember who it was. Sometimes people come before Congress and they have a conversation and they answer questions. But if Pam Bondi or Pete Hegseth or Carrie Lake or Kash Patel are or RFK are in that, RFK is a little better. I'll leave RFK out of that one. If they're in front of Congress, they have no plans on answering a single fucking question from a Democrat. They don't even hide it. Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. So it is interesting. I guess maybe you like Pam Bondi because maybe you think she's hot or something. She's got that like stern librarian look. But I just got to say, like, not my thing, you know? I'm not interested in being criticized throughout my entire relationship. Carrie Lake, the talk show host. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. All right. I want to show you not on my bingo card, but possibly a candidate for dumbest subplot so far of 2025. I don't know who put this video together. It says essay. I don't know who put this together. I got this tweet from Spencer Hakamian. This is just a compilation video. I don't know if Trump's team put it together. I don't know if Tucker's team put it together. I don't know if this is just a content creator. I wish I could give credit for whoever put this together. But we got beef. This is Kendrick and Drake, right? The beef this year is Trump versus Tucker Carlson, and I can't wait for the Super Bowl show.
Tucker Carlson expressed an intense dislike of former President Donald Trump in the wake of the 2020 election.
Turns out he was texting some other producers on his show.
I'm going to stop a lot of these because I do think that this kind of got glossed over. When Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News, one of the beautiful things that happened is that Dominion Voting Systems got access to Fox News's internal communications. And what they found in those internal communications was Fox News just over and over again admitting to each other and collaborating with each other to lie for President Trump, specifically for Trump. So one of the things that they got, this quote was from their internal emails. I hate Trump passionately. We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't, or ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait.
Him passionately regarding Trump, and we're very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait.
Carlson went on to say what he's good at is destroying things. He could easily destroy us if we play it wrong.
Again, that's internal emails. The other people on those emails are Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham. I think Jesse Waters was on those as well. This is, and then obviously Fox News executives.
Trump said he could close that in 24 hours. Do you think he could?
I have no idea. I mean, he couldn't build a border wall in 4 years, so, you know.
The Fox host said of the Trump presidency, we're all pretending we've got a lot to...
Kelly, wait till the end of this and we'll talk. Kelly Kemp specifically, I'm going to be nice to you today. I want you to listen to this. I want you to explain, or just think real quick, why all of Fox News behind the scenes was talking shit about Trump and on the air praising him. Just think about that. It might be something to think about. The people who know him the best, the people who are covering the news and have access to all the sources, they're knowingly lying just for him. Why is it? And they don't like him. Why would you knowingly lie for him when you don't like him?
To show for it, because admitting what a disaster it's been is too tough to digest. But come on, there isn't really an upside to Trump.
After January 6th, he goes on to text this guy that Trump is, in his words, a demonic force, a destroyer.
Carlson added that Trump's post-election behavior was, quote, disgusting.
The first week of a war with Iran could easily kill thousands of Americans.
No shots fired at our mission. No Iranian planes got airborne. They simply didn't see it.
It could also collapse our economy.
Thanks for the gifted subs, Amanda. And Sam joining the dollar train early. Appreciate it.
As surging oil prices trigger unmanageable inflation, consider the effects of $30 gasoline.
The strikes on Iran had limited impact on oil prices in the short term. Oil prices actually went down 7.2% Monday.
While it's often described as a rogue state, Iran has powerful allies. Iran isn't alone. An attack on Iran could very easily become a world war we'd lose.
Iran is totally isolated. They have no friends. They have no allies. They have nobody that's going to come to their aid.
All right, now I think this was a Trump person that put this out.
Can someone please explain to kooky Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, Trump's right. Tucker's wrong. I actually kind of I think that two things have happened in the same week. You had Tucker Carlson, I got to move my camera over, don't I? Tucker Carlson gained a lot of credibility with a lot of people for calling out this administration's getting down on their knees hood for Benjamin Netanyahu. And then at the same time, he couldn't help but be like fear-mongering Tucker. He couldn't help but just like take the situation as it was. Should we be bombing Iran? No. Is there evidence that they have a nuclear weapon? No. Are we escalating tensions for no reason? Absolutely. Are we doing this just because Israel wants us to? Yes. But Tucker couldn't leave it there because he's Tucker Carlson. So he had to escalate it into this will be World War III. And now he made the same mistakes he made on Fox News, but ironically, like the same mistakes that conservatives buy into all the fucking time. The same type of hysterics that Tucker's using against Trump is how he got you hysterical about Harris and Biden and how they're trying to get you hysterical about Mamdani. I just want you guys to see, like, think of the difference. I can't speak for everybody else. I can speak for me. We covered the news honestly here. I might have a different opinion, but we covered it honestly. And Tucker can't do that. And most of these people can't. In fact, I'll say it. I was going through like some content stuff yesterday. I dropped into Older Millennials Live yesterday just to trigger him real quick. I saw that he was live, and I don't like him very much. So I thought it'd be fun. I went in there was like 400 people in his live. And if you followed like my beef with him, one of the things he used to love to do is be like, I've never heard of you. You only have 50,000 followers. Nobody will look at all these views. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really a content creator. I'm a live streamer. Like you see my content. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, it's literally clips of the show. I used to make content. I don't really enjoy doing that. And so I was like, well, try and go live, see what happens. He's like, oh, if I went live, I could go live and I'd blow your numbers out of the water. So I just jumped in and I was like, oh man, might not be as easy as you thought. And he obviously lost his mind. But I was looking at views, and then I was looking at, like, you scroll through and you see the people who are engaged with the most online. Like I did feel like I felt okay, what's the right word? I was understanding of conservatives yesterday when I started going through like left-wing content. And I'll specifically, like, I can point out those two kids, what are their names? Chris Mowry and the dude that got caught having like 85 girlfriends. What's his name again? Dean had 20K viewers the last 2 days. Yeah, Dean's is massive. And Dean's one of the best debaters around, honest to God. Like, Dean is really fucking good at his job. Harry's the other person I was thinking of. Everything you see is, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Ben Shapiro, it's, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Benny Johnson, it's, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. I like Midas Touch sometimes, but a lot of times that's how I feel like Midas Touch is. Everybody's so ready to like get the story or make the video that they like, nobody ever waits for stories to develop. That's where we're at right now, like with the ceasefire. The ceasefire, I think, is a perfect example. You have Trump come out and he announces a ceasefire, and every conservative on Twitter comes out and they're like, oh my God, he ended the war. This is amazing. Give this man a Nobel Peace Prize. And then when the ceasefire is over, there's still missiles being shot. And then everybody on the left's like, oh, the war is going to go on forever. And then we're at today, like, where there's just this, is there a ceasefire? Is there not a ceasefire? We really don't know. The amount of times now that Israel has agreed to a ceasefire, or Republicans have claimed that Israel has agreed to a ceasefire with Gaza, like, it just never happens. And so I did feel that way. I did feel a little bit. So I'm going to try and not be like, so Aaron Parnas is one of those ones too, Amanda. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying my best, like, as we build this platform, to be a place where we don't overreact. I don't want to do breaking news. I don't think that breaking news is great. In fact, let me show this clip. This is actually what got me started on this, and I don't know why I didn't put this on there. Let me go to YouTube. There's this clip with Sean Hannity and I think it's Ted Koppel. Is it Koepel? Where is it? This is the clip. This is the clip that really got me thinking about it. Like, Sean Hannity is one of the richest people in broadcasting. He's not a news anchor. Ted Koppel was a news anchor. Like, Cronkite was a news anchor. Woodward and Bernstein, like they were real journalists. And today, like in order for you to make the most amount of money, if you're going to be in media, is to be this. Like, and you can include me in that as well. The meager living that we make. But I was watching this, like shock jock Sean Hannity versus real news anchor Ted Koppel.
We have to give some credit to the American people that they're somewhat intelligent and that they know the difference between an opinion show and a news show.
Yeah.
You're cynical. Look at that.
I am cynical because,
You think we're bad for America? You think I'm bad for America?
Yeah.
You do?
In the long haul, I think you and all these opinion shows...
That's sad, Ted.
No, you know why?
That's sad.
Because you're very good at what you do, and because you have attracted a significantly more influential...
Let me finish the sentence.
Let me finish the sentence before you do that.
With all due respect.
You have attracted people who are determined that ideology is more important than facts.
And again, like I'm not trying to like go on a crusade. It's been on my mind, and you guys that know me have ADHD, and I let the intrusive thoughts win all the time. And my brain is constantly going. And I'm gonna, like, to be honest, like I just don't want to be somebody who outside of the people who like me, everybody else goes, oh, that's just like a shock jock. That's somebody who just like does shit for clicks. I don't really want to do that. That being said, I'm going to criticize a lot of people who do things just for clicks, but I love what Ted Koppel said there. Like that is detrimental. And I do think we need to be careful with that. The media we consume, the media we share. I think that some vigilance on making sure the things that we share are factual would go a long ways. I can tell you just from my perspective of building out a show every day, like it is fucking time consuming because you see videos and you can't trust anything. I don't care where the video is coming from. If we're honest, there are outside of like Aaron Rupar and Asen, like there's very few people that I can't look at the clip and then where I don't, or I can look at the clip where I don't have to go back and fact check. And Aaron Rupar and Asen are just because they don't really add commentary. They just show a clip in whatever. I mean, they may cut some stuff out, but they'll show like a 45-second clip without any cuts. So I do think we could be more vigilant there. That being said, speaking of vigilance, this is a crazy story. Kash Patel was just complaining in front of Congress that because people were writing 8647 all over the internet, which cue the 8647s in the chat, because people were doing that all over the internet, that like the FBI lost all their resources. They had to take their resources who were fighting terrorists and they had to put them on these other cases tracking down the 8647s. Now we've got even more problems with the FBI. If I was an FBI agent who signed up to work for the FBI and I was just getting outsourced to every other agency for the first, how many months are we in? 5 months of the presidency. I would probably be pretty sick of my fucking job right now.
More people familiar with the matter are telling me today that guidance went out over the weekend from the FBI's assistant director in charge of counterterrorism that some of these agents, national security specialists who had been tasked with helping out on immigration raids, are now being redeployed back to their old jobs in counterterrorism, counterintelligence, and cyber over concern about potential retaliation from Iran related to the U.S. military strike on Iran. And as you said, this has been an ongoing source of tension within the FBI. Immigration enforcement is not traditionally an FBI function, but the Trump administration has directed FBI agents across the country to help DHS to go out on immigration raids. They've said that in part that's because illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, can be security threats, which is true. But I've been getting a lot of complaints from my FBI sources that this is not what they should be doing, that it's taking away resources from the really important threats.
I think that's the important part. Like, I know that a lot of you Republicans, like, you voted for mass deportations. You may not agree with us that this is cruel and unusual and that it's unwarranted treatment of these people. But the reality is, just like, effectively, this isn't a good use of resources. It's not helping you. It's not benefiting you. It statistically isn't making the country safer. It's not making the country more wealthy. In fact, it's crippling businesses. Just to take resources from the FBI, and they've basically totally eliminated pursuing financial crimes. which are far more likely to affect you. Like your life is far more affected by cheating corporations than it ever will be of illegal immigration. And so we don't even do financial crimes anymore. We're just taking the FBI off of every case, and we're just running around for Trump's pet projects. And I think like that, we can disagree on ideology all we want, but the reality is this administration, this FBI, they are rarely doing the most effective thing. They are just breaking everything. And that's the theme when you watch congressional testimony. Every fucking department is broken. Every one of them. They don't show up. They're showing up to the finance committee, to the budget committee without a budget. Today they showed up with a PowerPoint presentation, a 26-page PowerPoint presentation. They're supposed to have a budget, which is like generally hundreds of pages, because you have to go, you're saying like, here's where we're going to take all the money Congress you give us and you allocate, here's how we're going to spend it. They're just showing up without budgets and refusing to answer questions. Our government is grinding to a halt. Meanwhile, we're taking all these resources just to fight all of Trump's pet projects. We're doing immigration, and we're doing sucking Benjamin Netanyahu's dick, which shouldn't cost that much, but it does for some reason. We could just suck his dick. I think that might be the easier way. Maybe we stop blowing people up and instead just suck his dick. But this administration's use of resources, whether you agree with them or not, it's not working. It's not making anything better. And there's no evidence that it's going to make anything better, especially economically. Virtually every economist in the world says if Trump can accomplish his goals, it will wreck our economy. Jerome Powell is refusing to lower rates because there is so much unknown right now with tariffs. There's so much unknown with trade deals, of which, by the way, we have zero. We're 2 weeks away from having all of these trade deals done, they said in April, and it's fucking June, and it's just about July, and we have zero trade deals. And even if those trade deals wind up being what Trump says they are, it will decimate our economy. This is like the cult of personality stuff that's frustrating. I understand that many of you Trump supporters like what he's doing. Well, I would just advocate maybe pushing him in a direction of doing something that's going to benefit like fucking anybody. I don't know who in fact, most of the stuff he's done just benefits like his rich benefactors and people in his cabinet. It was reported yesterday that Stephen Miller has a 6-figure investment in the private prison contractor that is facilitating these ICE deportations. Pam Bondi, obviously, she sold a bunch of her Trump media shares right before the price crashed. You have Donald Trump, obviously, which we're going to get to later with his crypto scams. Just making money hand over fist. He's taking time out of his day to meet with donors. He took time out of his day to fly to the Middle East and he took a bunch of business leaders with him. At what point, MAGA, is he going to do something for you? Like, you mean like getting rid of illegal immigrants that are wasting taxpayer dollars? Well, Chick Punk, this is the problem. They're not wasting taxpayer dollars. They're not. They are a net. I looked at this yesterday. I think the cost of illegal immigration is something like $50 billion a year. But the amount of money that they put into the economy in terms of taxes, through sales tax, through city taxes, through if they're renters, that's paying property tax, and then those who have obtained like a Social Security card, even if it's fraudulent, they pay into Social Security and Medicare, and they're never able to take that out. It's about $100 billion. So if you got rid of all the illegal immigrants, you would lose $50 billion. Go see whoever your favorite Republican content creator is, MAGA Republican, whatever you want to call them, content creators. Go find any clip of them or any sort of breakdown of them talking about how much illegal immigration costs us. And what they will do, you will notice this, they will talk about all the stuff that we spend. And then they will say, that's the total number. They never talk about the money that is put back into the back into the government's pockets through taxes. What do you mean you're high, bro? Look it up. Look it up. You want to see? You want to see? How much do illegal immigrants pay into taxes? This is according to ITEP. I think we've even showed this before. Undocumented immigrants paid $96.7 billion in federal, state, and local taxes in 2022. Most of that amount, $59.4 billion, was paid to the federal government, while the remaining $37.3 billion was paid to state and local governments. Go look. All your Republicans are claiming $50 billion is what it costs every year for illegal immigration. Just under $100 billion was paid in. What's 100 minus 50? It's 50. Or if we want to be more accurate, what's 96.7 minus 50? $46.7 billion. It is a net positive. And you guys get mad when you say you're high, bro. It's because nobody on your side ever fucking tells you the whole story. And the nearsightedness, like sometimes I think people in the media lie or leave out the whole story because either the whole story isn't relevant or it doesn't make their point. But in this situation, you guys are advocating for getting rid of people who are a net benefit to our economy. They commit crimes at a lower rate than American citizens, so they are a net benefit when it comes to criminal activity too. But they never tell you that story. They just talk to you about Laken Riley. They talk to you about fentanyl, which 90% of it is brought across the border by American citizens. I'm just wondering at what point are you guys going to be like not so emotionally driven? When we get to Zohran here in a minute, you're going to see like it's painfully obvious today, maybe more than any day I can remember in recent history, that these folks just have all of you so afraid of everything that you don't need facts, you don't need figures, you don't need data. Your fear outweighs all of that. I just showed you the data and you still will support that position that actually they cost us money. Why? Because they scared you. And you're not ready to let go of that fear yet. You're not ready yet to let go of that programming. But just look, I'm a data person. That's how I'm on the left. That's how I wound up here. And I'm not saying the left's always right. I'm saying the reason that I've stopped being a Republican and the reason that I wind up more left-leaning is simply data. That's it. There's nothing about any of my positions that are like, oh, well, this is just ideologically driven. Outside of this idea that I think we should treat people humanely and that human beings deserve the same rights and that the government should do what's best for its citizenry, like outside of that, I'm not really that ideologically driven. But you guys are entirely ideologically driven. Data made up by your party. That's the thing. This is exactly it. This is the same conversation I just had with my friend over Facebook for 2 days. It's the same fucking argument with every one of you. Immigrants cost us money. Here's the data that says they don't. Oh, well, the data's made up. What does that tell you? It tells you that you are more receptive to feelings and specifically fear and manipulation than you are to data. And when presented with data, you chose your feelings over the data. You're choosing it right now. You're choosing your emotions right now. I don't believe any of this. My people wouldn't lie. I definitely am not afraid of immigrants. This definitely isn't like racism that I don't recognize. All right, back here.
That after 9/11, the FBI was directed to go after, and now there is some redeployment, and that's in a sense an acknowledgement that perhaps this was not the best use of resources, because after all, there is a threat from Iran now, but there's also been a threat from ISIS, there's been a threat from domestic terrorism. That wasn't enough to cause this redeployment, but the Iran threat is acute enough that they are making these changes.
Then what's the
I do have friends, Josh, and I'd like to be your friend too. Let's be friends, Josh.
deal with this 22-year-old? Thomas Fugate, who's in charge of the counterterrorism hub at DHS. What's on his resume?
Well, I'm just saying, if you didn't know this was a Republican, and I just put this picture up, and we didn't know any of his philosophies, I put this guy's picture up, and I said, do you trust this guy? No. He looks like a villain. It's straight out of a movie. This big-ass dump, I don't know what he's doing with his eyebrow. This is the picture he chose? The picture he chose to use. This is a villain in every movie.
This job.
And that is emotionally driven. You got me there, Republicans.
it's unclear, and he has no relevant experience, and he's 22, and that speaks for itself. But what's even more consequential, Katie, is that the Trump administration's budget zeroes out this program. It's a small program. It's $18 million in grants to state and local government designed to prevent violence. And I looked into this and found that, in fact, the people involved in this program believe that it has prevented mass shootings. It's kind of soft skills grant programs. It funds anti-violence teams that go out into the community, mental health, behavioral health teams that sort of train teachers and other professionals on how to respond to people who are in crisis. It's the kind of thing that doesn't make headlines, but it has, they believe, prevented violence, terrorism-related, and other kinds of violence. And now the Trump administration is proposing to zero it out as part of a series of, obviously, budget cuts without seeming regard for the impact of the programs.
We'll get to Pam Bondi a little bit later, like I said, but it is, I think you guys will be surprised at how much money this administration is planning on cutting for law enforcement. For like you guys used to get mad at us so much with defund the police. You're mad at Mamdani for talking about defund the police. You guys are defunding the police all over. Go look at Pam Bondi's budget. Go look at where they're cutting. They are going to have far less investigative power in the DOJ than previous administrations. I don't know why, and again, for what? So that billionaires can get a tax break. Here's more of Trump's administration just doing fucking nothing, just shit that doesn't affect you one goddamn bit. Here's Linda McMahon picking fights with California for something that you guys are going to get emotionally attached to right now, and you're emotionally going to have a reaction. But I just want to point out, it does not affect you fucking at all, unless we have any girl K through 12, or I guess high school girl athletes here in the chat, in which case it may affect you.
And what exactly is the remedy for this?
Yeah, 26%, Jody. They're cutting 26% from law enforcement through the DOJ.
There are several steps to it, but I'll just kind of sum it
Polly
up for
says
you. They
peace.
really need to send a letter of apology to all of the participants, female participants in sports. They need to return the titles that were taken away from these women who competed and lost to male in the sports. And they just have to make it right to those women competitors.
Well, you know, California, they probably won't do that. So what happens if they continue to violate and you don't get those, the letter, you don't get the apology and the titles given to biological girls?
Well, they run the risk of losing their federal funding, in their K through 12 schools, and that's where these infractions were committed.
Nothing says liberty, nothing says freedom like telling millions of children in California that if their governor doesn't write a written apology to all the female athletes and give them medals, that their kids won't get funding. All the kids. For what reason? I don't know how many trans athletes have won titles in California. I know of one. There may be more. I don't know who else we're talking about. There may be more than one. There may be 20. There may be 30. Fuck, if there's 200, which they're guarantee there isn't. You want to cut funding for all kids in California because they won't write a letter of apology and give medals to a handful of girls? See what I'm saying? Like, this is all ideologically driven bullshit. You're going to hurt kids. I'm a little concerned about you Republicans. You don't seem to care much about children. For a pro-life party, you don't care a lot about children. Fuck the children in Gaza. Like, we'll bomb them. Let's rip healthcare from children. Let's rip SNAP benefits from children. Let's make sure that children are punished because their parents don't have enough money. And then let's make sure California children are punished. Can you imagine, like, using children as leverage to negotiate your agenda? And it is an agenda. Whatever you want to say about, I'll say this, like, whatever your feelings are about trans people, all this shit is made up, right? Like, why are you a man? Because we just started calling you a man. At some point, arbitrarily, people, human beings who could speak said man, woman. What's the difference? Penis, vagina. And that was it. And then we just rolled with it like it was scientific. we could have separated a lot of different ways. We could have had multiple different genders. It could have been both based on genitalia, but then you could also add division for hair color. You could add division for height. Even now with all the testing we have, we could have unlimited amounts of genders just based on like hormone levels. It's so arbitrary. It's a figure of language. It's arbitrary, and you guys are willing to pull funding from children over this arbitrary discussion of like, that person says that they're a woman and they're not. And there's without any real danger to you or your children. Every time we talk about like trans athletes, which let's be honest, you guys just mean, and you say it all the time, you just mean that you think that boys or men are going to play in girls or women's sports, and you think that's unfair. We get it. You don't really care if it goes the other way, because I don't think any of you can name any of them. But like, it's such a small issue that wherever you land on it, it is such a small issue that I can't figure out how it is like a central focus of your platform. It's so much so that you're willing to rip education out of poor children's lives just to prove a point.
You know, it's very interesting to hear Governor Newsom say that it's a matter of fairness. It's easy, talk is cheap. Well, I think he needs to put his money where his mouth is. And several months ago, when this first,
look at him in the chat. You guys are fucking insane. You're honestly all fucking insane. Let it go. It doesn't affect you. XX, YY, man, woman. Ah! Chill. Fucking chill. It's fine. The world is not ending. It's fine. Why are you this obsessed? Why do you get this worked up about it? Why are you willing to abandon everything? You stand for literally, absolutely fucking nothing. That provides no benefit to the country other than you feel a little bit better. Chill. This is crazy. By the way, it's no different. I just watched recently, it was a debate. I don't remember who the guy was. It was the Klan leader versus Jim Brown. And he was using the exact same arguments about segregation. The exact same arguments. We are a different species. It's fine. We need to be able to separate. God made white men and black men. We are different. We are separate. We should not be forced to integrate. It's the same argument. It's just weird. You just feel icky about it, and then you freak the fuck out about it.
I sent him a letter and asked him to do just that if he's talking about fairness, but there was no action taken on his part. So he talks about it, but he doesn't do anything about it. So we've stepped in. We've investigated. Our Office of Civil Rights investigated this thoroughly and found that that was an infraction. And so now we are demanding that they take action or will take action.
By the way, she's also lying about what she's saying. She's saying that they need to give these high school girls their titles. They did. The girl that won the championship, who was a trans girl, got a first place medal, and then the non-trans athlete also got a first place medal. They already did all this. This is crazy. Like, you want to defund the state education because two people got a first place medal? Like, that's crazy. That is a crazy position that you're taking. That's a crazy position. Not only like, it would be one thing if like we were having this discussion and it came up and it's like, okay, what's your opinion? But you guys focus on it. It is like an area of focus. So much so that Linda McMahon is on Fox News to brag about them withholding funding from California about this. You really think that's the most important thing you guys could worry about right now? Is a split title in high school girls track and field? I think it was high jump and long jump. It's that important? Two people got a medal? We cannot have this. We cannot have this in America. This is not right. We must defund California schools. I will tell you what Americans do care about. And why I think I'll get to Mamdani next. Why I think one of the reasons Mamdani won is Americans are sick of and tired, like regular Americans, not crazy people. they're sick and tired about fighting about shit that doesn't matter, and they're sick and tired of being lied to. Look at this. This is obviously Harry Enton, I think his name is Harry Enton from CNN, our favorite pollster, showing the average of CBS and Fox News polls. Here we go. Cue the fake news shit. This is CBS and Fox News polls. This is CBS, Reuters, and Ipsos polls. These aren't even CNN polls that they're showing here. But look at the net approval for U.S. airstrikes on Iran.
Yeah, these things are moving quite quickly, but these are initial readings, and I will say from a historical perspective, I am surprised that the net approval rating is so low on these strikes, and it's in two different polls. It's our CNN SSRS poll, 12 points underwater, 1 thumbs down. How about the Reuters Ipsos poll? Look at that, the exact same reading, -9 points underwater. 2 thumbs down. And why am I so surprised from a historical perspective? Because usually airstrikes rate fairly highly. What are we talking about? Let's go back through the time machine. Net approval of U.S. airstrikes. You see it here, Iran, -11 points underwater on the average. Compare it to ISIS back in 2014, 58 points in the positive direction. So this is a nearly 70-point difference. That is why I'm...
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what happens when you try and bomb somebody that is no threat. The average American, like, go out on the street and just say, how is Iran a threat to you? And almost every American will be like, I don't know. I have no idea. ISIS was easy. Like, it was easy to see what ISIS was doing. That was easy. Iran, nobody really knows. And even when you explain it, they're like, well, they paid for Hamas. They helped fund Hamas, who did October 7th. But okay, so then re-ask the question. So how is that a threat to you? It's not. It's not a threat to you, right? That's why it's underwater, because it's fucking stupid. And I do think that, like, Trump's doing a good job of changing this narrative right now. There was no war. Israel started a war. Then Israel convinced us to get in the war with them. Then we bombed Iran. And then we were calling it a ceasefire, and they're like, "Look, Trump brought peace. He did. He did. He brought peace. We brought the war. We did the war." It's like spitting on somebody's face, and then be like, "Look, I cleaned your face. Why are you not thanking me for cleaning your face? You spit on it." Don't get all worked up, Republicans, because I said spit on it, or do. That's fine.
So surprised from a historical perspective, because normally these airstrikes rate quite highly, but this one, you go back through history, it rates as the lowest that I could possibly find on the historical record.
Military action often popular at the beginning.
Yeah, these...
All right, where's my healthcare plan? Well, the concepts of the plan will be here in 2 weeks. Brian said, God-fearing Christian Governor Greg Abbott of Texas blocked poor kids from getting free lunches. Another win for Jesus. There we go. Praise God. Praise Jesus. He's so happy. He's so happy that those kids aren't going to have food. Fuck Jesus. I think it's Mark chapter 3 verse 7. Fuck them kids. I think I quoted that correctly. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's right. What is that? Oh, that's who Gargamel is? I didn't know that's who Gargamel is, Jen. Jen sent this picture of let's see, let me pull that over there, of that guy that we were showing. She said that guy looks like Gargamel with hair. I didn't know that's who Gargamel was. I heard Chico on TikTok pretending that he had changed his name to Gargamel. I thought he had made that up. All right, here's the story of the day. Zohran Mamdani becomes the first Muslim to clinch the New York City mayoral primary. Now, it is important to remember that this primary does not include the Democrat who won the last primary and who won the mayor race, Eric Adams. Because what happens, the difference between us and you, Republicans, and Republicans love Eric Adams now, the difference between the two of us is that when our politicians break the law, we kick them out of the party. When your politicians break the law, they get elevated in the party. So much so that, like, Eric Adams is kind of one of you guys now. You just love people who break the law. And that's why we have this primary. So Mamdani gets the... Boy, what a gift that he gets to run against Eric Adams' record. That's an absolute gift. Here is Harry Enton again, showing I think this was the final, the final results and some final exit polling that Democrats Republicans, you're not part of this right now. Okay, so go hit your vape or whatever you guys do. We're talking to the Democrats here. If you are an establishment Democrat, you better be fucking listening, because this is a mayoral race, but it's a mayoral race in one of the richest cities in the country, where industry matters, where some of the richest humans on earth live and do business, and they live around working class people who are being decimated. And that story is the same in New York, in Chicago, in Dallas, in Miami, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Salt Lake City, in Phoenix, in Denver, in Austin, in Houston, in New Orleans. What's the biggest town in Alabama? I don't even know. Mobile? What's the biggest town? In Memphis, Tennessee. In all these big cities, this is the same issue. There is a problem with wealth inequality. And what we just found out is that if you run somebody radical, and I think we maybe learned this from Trump, you run somebody radical and the voters will see a lot of the radical changes or big changes that they want to make, and they'll agree with those. And they'll tell themselves, the more radical ideas I can ignore because I don't think I can accomplish them. And that's actually kind of fair. That's like the Ben Shapiro take on Donald Trump. I don't like what Donald Trump says. I don't like a lot of the stuff he says he's going to do. I don't believe he's going to be able to do a lot of the things he says he can do. The things that I do believe he can do, I agree with. And so I'm gonna vote that way. And I think that that's how a lot of people voted in New York City yesterday. But here's polling about Democratic leadership, the Democratic Party leadership. Maybe. What's going on here?
There we go. Let me tell you, this was a political earthquake that should have the Democratic establishment running scared. What are we talking about here? Well, New York City primary upsets like Mamdani's. This is truly one for the record books. There are really only two that I could think of that are anything like this. And that's back in '89 for mayor when David Dinkins won over three-term mayor Ed Koch. Koch was running for a fourth term. The voters said, there was big turnout then, just like there was big turnout last night. And of course, more recently, if you want to take a look at a national picture, think back to 2018, New York's 14th Democratic primary going for Congress when AOC beat House Dem Caucus Chair Joe Crowley. This, to me, is very much like that, energizing young voters, energizing voters on the left, and providing what truly was a historic night last night in Democratic circles.
And, look, on paper, this is a mayor's race. This is also New York City, special city. But is this more a New York City thing, or is this more of a sign of a larger national trend when it comes to the Democratic Party?
Yeah, just like AOC's victory in 2018, this did happen locally, but I think you can take it up nationally. What are we talking about here? Well, you think about Democratic establishment, you think about Democratic Party leaders. Pretty much all of them were behind Andrew Cuomo. But the bottom line is the Democratic base is fed up, done with the Democratic establishment. This is.
I mean, the amount of people that came out and supported Cuomo. First of all, fuck every single person who endorsed Cuomo. Let's play a game. Republicans, you can play this game with us because I think this will be fun. This will be a good way to get along here today. Endorsements. Let's see. Let's get a list of his endorsements. All right. So let's play the game together. Republicans, you're with me. President Bill Clinton. Everybody together. Fuck Bill Clinton. Henry Cisneros, former Housing and Urban Development Secretary. Everybody together. Fuck Henry Cisneros. Let's do the ones we know. Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Republicans, Democrats, everybody. Let's come together today. Fuck Mike Bloomberg. Who else do we have? Congressman Jim Clyburn. Everybody together. Fuck Jim Clyburn. Congressman Tom Suozzi. Everybody together. Fuck Tom Suozzi. I think it's Suozzi. Congressman Richie Torres. Everybody together. Fuck Richie Torres. Mr. APAC Richie Torres himself. Who else we got down here that needs to get fucked? I'm looking for names I recognize. You guys may recognize more than me. If you see some in there, let me know. All of these unions, get fucked. All of these community leaders and organizers, get fucked. You can still contribute. What if I give money to him right now? Can I still contribute? You can still contribute to Cuomo. He needs your money, guys. He needs it desperately. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck every one of those people. Every last one of them. They wanted establishment. They wanted legitimately a criminal sex pest who uses the office to enrich himself. The Republican or Democrat establishment, when they say like Democrats polling, like Democrat approval ratings at 21%, and I've been saying this, like, it's way too fucking low. Or I mean high, sorry. It's way too high. I don't know why it's 1%. It's 1% maybe is right. I would accept 5% or less. That's how people should feel about the Democratic Party right now.
It's true in New York. It's true nationally. Democrats who say their party leaders should be replaced. Look at this. This is a recent poll from Reuters Ipsos. 62% of Democrats nationally say their party leaders should be replaced. Party leaders like Andrew Cuomo, party leaders like Jim Clyburn, who, of course, party
leaders like Nancy Pelosi, party leaders like Chuck Schumer, party leaders like Hakeem Jeffries. Get out. You got to go. You got to go. We're leaving you behind. The thing is like, people get fed up and then you create a movement. And that's how Donald Trump became president. And that's how Donald Trump won the Republican nomination, because Republicans were tired of the same fucking person. It didn't matter if it was Jeb Bush or Mitt Romney or Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio or Mike Huckabee. They were all just like legitimately the same person. They all had the exact same views. They all talked about shit that they were going to get done, and then they didn't get any of that shit done. And so Donald Trump came in and he's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You guys have been promising this forever. You didn't get a goddamn thing done. And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to leave the business world and I'm going to get things done. Now, do I think that part's true? No. I don't think he was like leaving the business world. His show was tanking. His business was in the toilet. But that is how he won. And it was the energy. His platform actually was basically Mitt Romney's platform. He ran on Romney's platform. It was almost identical to what Romney had run on 4 years prior, but it was the way that he ran and his willingness to say, fuck you, let's change things. All these things you said you're going to do, you never do them. That happened at a time when, and part of the reason nobody thought Trump could beat Hillary Clinton is because to start that campaign, like, we were coming off of Obama and people liked Obama. Democrats liked Obama. Moderates liked Obama. And so going from Obama to Hillary, although she was less palatable, it was like, it doesn't matter. The Republicans are so in the toilet that there's no way they're going to win. And you start this buildup, and then all of a sudden they win the midterms. It's like, uh-oh. And then Trump like just slowly starts rising. The guy that all the Republicans are like, this fringe fucking idiot. Nobody's going to vote for this fringe fucking idiot, but the fringe fucking idiot gets to say whatever he wants, has nothing to lose, gets to call out the entire party. His only option, Donald Trump's only option, was to bury everybody. Bury Ted Cruz, bury Jeb Bush, bury Mitt Romney. That was his only option, and he was uniquely able to do that. If Donald Trump is good at one thing, it is like a relentless assault on people that he doesn't like. And so it was like this perfect storm. That's where we're at. That's where the Democrats are at right now. We are at this perfect storm. And I want to say this, like, first of all, the midterms are going to be a blowout. They're going to be an absolute blowout for Democrats. It's going to be a huge change. But Democrats are in a position where if you don't go radical, if you don't go, I mean, you got to go somewhere like AOC. You got to go somewhere like Pete Buttigieg. Maybe somebody comes. Bless her heart. I love her to death. She's one of my favorite people in Congress. The worst possible thing you could do is run Jasmine Crockett. Do not run Jasmine Crockett. Don't run someone that's funded by AIPAC. Don't run somebody who's in bed with big businesses. You have to run a grassroots, privately funded universal health care, things like price controls. These resonate because people know they're helpless. The residents of New York City, I've seen tons of interviews, and there was one guy, his name's Nathan Friedman. He's like a right-wing content creator. He's pretty deceptive in the way that he edits videos. But I watched him do an interview with the guy that was running, and he's like, who are you voting for? And the guy said, I'm voting for Mamdani. He's like, why? And he's like, because he's the only person running who doesn't make my stomach turn. And he's like, well, he's a democratic socialist. Are you a socialist? And the guy says, no, I'm not a socialist. But I do think that people in New York City recognize that the status quo, the people doing things the same way, like, Everybody's been saying we need to fix affordability in New York City for 20 years. And what's happened? It got worse. Everybody said it. And the reason that they just said it, they didn't have any real plan. But Mamdani has an actual plan. He's saying, like, we're going to use the weight of the government, the voice of the people, and we're going to institute price controls. We're going to do things like we're going to create government-funded grocery stores. And for people with no other option, what's their other option? Vote for Cuomo and have everything stay exactly the same. Vote for Eric Adams and have everything stay the same. Vote for a Republican and have everything get slightly worse because they'll also cut taxes. If you're a working class New Yorker, you had no fucking choice. So even for those people that it might bother them that he's a democratic socialist, that I'm not that person, they recognize the reality. He's a mayor, not a king. His ability to fund certain things relies on the city council. He's got to get a city council that will work with him, and some of them won't. And so some of the stuff he says he wants to do, he's not going to be able to do. But that's what happened in New York. There was no other option, and that's what Democrats have to present all over the country. And if Democrats want to be serious about this shit, if they want to create a movement that's similar to the MAGA movement, except for not filled with morons, all they have to do is primary fucking everyone, especially AIPAC people right now. Especially people who are funded by AIPAC and corporate interests. Now is the time to go after them. Campaign on change, campaign on real change, campaign on radical change, and don't take funding. Crowdfund. Get out in the streets. I saw there was a picture of Mamdani yesterday speaking to people, and his back was soaked. The shirt on his back was absolutely soaked in sweat. Why? Because he was outside with the people, didn't care about hair and makeup, soaked to the bone, just saying, like, here's what I'm going to do. Here I am. Like, let's talk. That shit works. You cannot run a moderate Democrat against Donald Trump because he can beat them over the head with everything. That's why Republicans right now are like, oh, don't do that. I don't know if they know or not, but I do know that some Republicans like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, they know that when you run a moderate Democrat, it's so fucking easy because everything a moderate Democrat accuses Trump of, Trump gets to accuse them of the same thing. Oh, you take corporate funding. You take corporate funding. You take funding from AIPAC. You take funding from AIPAC. You take a bunch of money from oil companies. You take a bunch of money from solar companies. And they just get to beat each other over the head and nothing's accomplished. Everybody walks away with the same opinion. What happens when you put somebody with principles who doesn't have corporate interests and you sit them on the stage with Donald Trump? What's Trump going to say to AOC? Honestly, what could he say if she was the candidate? What could he possibly say to AOC? Oh, you were a bartender. Yeah. Yeah, she was. You want the Green New Deal? Yeah. You give oil subsidies. You only don't like the oil. You only don't like the Green New Deal because you're paid off by oil companies. Well, you're paid off by the, oh, wait, nobody. We're not paid off. I don't know if it's AOC or not. It's probably not AOC. It's probably Pete Buttigieg. That would be my ideal scenario. Maybe it's AOC. I still think we have a problem in this country, potentially electing women, but maybe we don't. Maybe if it's a woman who isn't owned and doesn't look like every other politician and isn't playing the same game that Bill Clinton and Joe Biden and Joe Manchin all played, then maybe they will. So maybe we could find out.
Endorsed Andrew Cuomo. You think about all the Democrats that were behind Andrew Cuomo in the establishment. The Democratic base is fed up with them. And the bottom line is nationally, the vast majority of Democrats think that their party leaders should be replaced. But it's more than this, right? Of course.
Benny, I hear you say it's just sexism and racism. I don't think that's a fair assessment of why Kamala Harris lost. I think that's an element of why she lost. But I do think that there was, like, looking back on it now, from trying to take myself out of my perspective, like, I'm somebody who digs into this. And Benny, I know you. Benny, if you guys don't follow Benny's brilliant. And you follow all this stuff really closely as well. For us, there's like a clear difference between Trump and Kamala. But for the average person, like, policy-wise, it really wasn't that different. And the difference is Trump is honest about it, like, because he's like openly corrupt. And then Kamala, who, look, there's some corrupt things she did. She met with all the banks privately and wouldn't tell us what she talked about with them. And every candidate does that. Trump does that too. But he's honest about it, and he gets the opportunity. He gets to be like, oh, well, yeah, like, why wouldn't I work with the banks? I'm pro-commerce. And she's like, we got to get big banks out of our decisions. And then she meets with them and doesn't tell us what she says. There were things like that would have turned off other people. Perhaps you weren't racist, perhaps you weren't sexist, but perhaps you're turned off by somebody who is too tied to corporate interests or too tied to AIPAC. We know that. I know there's people that are here that we've disagreed, and I was probably wrong on a lot of that stuff, especially when it came to like the protest vote. So I don't think it's all that. I just don't think we can say it's all that. There's an element of it. It's hard to decide how much of the element is racist and sexist. But I mean, we have a Muslim man who just won in New York City, and so there's at least. Do you think he wins? Do you think Mamdani is even in the top 5 if he just ran on like Cuomo's policies? If he ran like everybody else, if he ran as like some AIPAC funded guy, like no. The reason he won is because he chose to be different, and people if they have those internal biases, there's a lot of people that just overlooked their internal bias and said, you know what, this guy actually seems like he has a plan. And sometimes that's what you need to do. Like if somebody's bigoted, sometimes a good plan might make them see you a little bit differently. Maybe that's their first step to letting go of their bigotry.
Mamdani ran a pretty far left campaign, right, compared to what we normally see in Democratic circles. But the bottom line is, you talked to me 20, 30 years ago, there was no way I thought a Democratic socialist could win a nomination for mayor in New York or nationally. But look, Democrats who identify as liberal nationally, in 1994 is 25%. You go to 2004, 33%, 2014, 43%. Now the majority of Democrats nationally identify as liberal. If there are Democratic establishment folks who think this is just going to be contained in New York, I say this is a warning sign to you. It very much may not be.
And obviously a lot of eyeballs on this race, including what happens next, because now he's just got to match up with an independent incumbent in Mayor Eric Adams. So
I'm very much looking forward to this matchup. It could be another one for the books.
More numbers for you to dig into.
That
Harry,
sounds right.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
As always.
I'm not sure what you meant by that with 76 million votes with 100 days of campaigning. Like the reality is most of those votes she was going to get anyways. Like it's a very small percentage of people that you get, and you have to excite your base. What was that, 5 or 6 million less than Joe Biden got? And I think that's maybe where you can. I think that difference, that 6 million, is maybe where you can say this could have been sexism. This could have been racism. Yeah, Chick Punk, we're getting dragged. You're doing great, pal. You're doing really, really great. Republicans are not handling this win well. And I tweeted out earlier today that Republicans have been like bashing us over the head ever since the election, that the reason that we lost is because we kept calling people racist. Let me do this. Let me get rid of my DMs. That's going to give away one of my announcements. I don't want to do that. Let me close those. There we go. Anyways, Republicans were saying like, oh, it's because you called us racist, so that's why you lost. Well, how come you just started being racist then? How come you guys went like straight Islamophobia when Mamdani won? Laura Ingraham, New York had the chance to turn the state around by electing Lee Zeldin governor. They chose Hochul. Bragg and James tried to destroy Trump. They failed. Nothing they or AOC have done has made New Yorkers' lives better, and now they've taken a suicidal path. Socialism. That one's probably not racist. That's just like fear of socialism. The suicidal path of socialism. Fucking Sweden, Denmark, most of Europe. Those awful democratic socialists that are thriving right now. Meghan McCain, conservatives have no place in New York City, and the ones who argue my point defiantly still living there are definitely going to fuck around and find out. What are you saying? What's so scary about Mamdani? You guys might have affordable housing. Fuck around and find out. Laura Loomer's not so subtle. There will be another 9/11 in New York City, and Mamdani will be to blame. Okay. John Rocker, New Yorkers are arsler. John Rocker is a psycho. Patrick Bet David, he's going all in. Sharia law is the end goal. New York City is just the opening move. Shut the fuck up. Patrick Bet David is the laziest, dumbest, most reactionary political content creator on the right. And you guys just fall for this shit. He's Muslim, so it's Sharia law. Oh yeah, is that why he came to America? That's why his family immigrated to America? Because they wanted to bring Sharia law? This dude marches with LGBTQ people. What are you talking about? He advocates for, very publicly, for things that Sharia law does not allow for. So what am I left with from Patrick Bet David here? I'm left with, oh, he's a Muslim, and all Muslims are bad. That's what I'm left with Patrick Bet David here. And I think coming from where he came from, I could get that. I could see that, where his family came from. Radical Islam. I'm not a fan of radical Islam. I wish radical Islam would go away. I think all religion is bad. I don't like religion at all. I think radical Christians are bad. I think radical Islam's bad. I think if you're going to take a death toll, Christianity's probably winning right now. Islam's probably a little behind when it comes to religion, but not too far behind. Yeah. But this guy wants Sharia law. He's out here. One of the things Republicans are mad about is that he's advocating for healthcare access to trans kids in New York City. It sounds just like the fucking Ayatollah. Exactly the same thing. It's you almost can't see the degree of separation there. They're the exact same people. Here's more of their meltdown. Where was it? Here's Jim. Yeah, here it is. Here's Jim Cramer. Link is broken. There we go. Jim Cramer on CNBC. I promise you guys are not prepared for what Jim Cramer said here. I promise. I don't know. Well, explain it then, chick. What the fuck is Patrick Bet David talking about then, chick punk? If he says Sharia law's next, what are we talking about? I'm not saying that's your opinion. Explain Patrick Bet David's comment any other way. A pretty radical leftist who believes in LGBTQ rights, who wants socialism, who is a democratic socialist. Not only he likes votes, and he likes socialism, and he likes LGBTQ people. Just explain to me then what the fuck he's talking about. What's Patrick Bet David talking about with Sharia law then? Because the reason we don't like Sharia law is because it limits people's rights, right? Just explain it to me, chick. What are you talking about? If it's not about all Muslims, then what the fuck is it about? Why is he talking about Sharia law? Are we finally gonna go quiet now? Is now the time? Why are we talking about Sharia law there, chick punk? We'll go on to this. Let's watch Jim Cramer lose his fucking mind. I mean, look, these are old, conservative, terrified douchebags who don't know what to do with Mamdani winning, and so they are just going to the extremes. Sharia law, we'll have another 9/11. They have no idea how to handle any of this, and so they're just losing their minds. Yeah, that's a good point too, Benny. Sharia law is basically exactly what Christian nationalists are sneaking into bills. There's that tweet everybody's probably seen because it's shared everywhere, but it's like a 9-year-old girl in Iran is being forced to birth and carry her father's baby. Oh wait, sorry, that's Alabama. Yeah, you guys are the same. Like, you guys want Sharia law, you just call it something different, just a different god, same dumbass law.
It is not the closing of a steakhouse that David Zaslav likes to, and you like to go to. Well, you and I have had dinner there a few times.
Yes. And you and I are going to recreate that place.
The rent's too high. You know what? The new mayor, potentially, of New York is going to freeze the rents, and everybody eats for free, so they don't have to worry.
Really?
Yeah.
But how about the rich?
No.
Do they get shot?
No, yes. They get taken away.
What about the rich? Do they get shot? He just said rent is unaffordable. We're going to freeze the rents to make housing more affordable. And rich dipshit over here goes, but what about us? You're just going to kill us? No, you can just keep living where you live, and other people will be able to afford their housing. That's all that's going to happen. Literally nothing will happen to you. The corporate tax is going to pay for that. He's not a corporation. He's an employee, so he's not going to pay more than that. The corporate, I don't know. I'm guessing CNBC is headquartered in New York, so their corporate tax rate will go up a little bit, and rich people will pay slightly more in taxes. You said like free, nothing's free. Yeah, no shit. That's the cool thing about Mamdani. He never said free. He tells you Here's what we're going to provide, and here's how we pay for it. And it's all revenue neutral. Everything Mamdani is promising is revenue neutral. They can raise the funds for it with taxes. Now, they're going to need the city council to approve that, so we'll see. Somebody asked, like, why do we care about a New York City mayor race? I think that's a fair question. The reason we care is because it is the biggest city in the country, and a Democratic socialist just beat out establishment Democrats, including some Democrats who are not so establishment, who are a little further left. The farthest left person won in a city that historically elects people like Michael Bloomberg and Andrew Cuomo, moderate Democrats. People who look like conservatives, but like maybe they're more accepting of other lifestyles. That's basically it. Maybe they give a little more money to poor people. That's it. And that's historically who New York has chosen. And New York had like six of those options. And they ignored all of those options and they went far left. That's why people are resonating with this, because you probably disagree, but I think this is a blueprint across the country. These are not radical ideas. I'll show you. They're not as radical as you think they are.
Kulaks. Yes, they get taken away. We have to go.
In 23.
We have to leave now. But everybody else, there he is.
All the rich, we all have to leave.
Maybe he's more moderate
winning
than we
the
think.
Democratic primary for mayor and potentially the successor of Eric Adams. That said, there's still a general election to come here in New York. And by the way, of course, we're here. We talk about it, but we are talking.
We'll never win a national election again. What's a national? You mean the presidency? Is that what you mean? You saying we won't win the presidency again? Because if you're talking about like members of Congress, we've already won some of those like since Trump is in office. So I don't know.
About a $2 trillion economy. It's not nothing.
It is a,
he wants to get the rents down. One good way to do it is to stop all business and drive everybody out. That'll bring the rents down.
That's a very good point. Right? Go to Jersey, where I am.
Yeah.
They get rich people. Your taxes are going to go up by 1%. We all must flee. We all must flee the city. Run away from the city. Not an extra 1%. Shut the fuck up. You're going nowhere. I saw somebody, what's her stupid name? That Trump's attorney that wound up crying and admitting that she broke the law. I forget her name. She's like, this is going to cause everybody to go to Florida. Okay. Bad Religion said it was way past time. Dems stopped trying to be Republican light. Yeah. Thank you, Rory. Amy Lynn said, history shows the harder the right pushes, the further left we go. Has been happening since the beginning. That's true. That's true. Devin said, if socialism's so bad, Republicans should be elated that Mamdani won so they can finally prove just how bad it is. Unless, I don't know why you guys are afraid of socialism. It might be easier for me, and I don't want that. Things need to be as hard as possible. Here's more Republican melting down and more racist fear-mongering. Here's libs of TikTok. We don't need an investigation to know what the posting this tweet from Zohran. We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need to do is defund the NYPD. She's very upset about defunding. Well, Pam Bondi is defunding the police on Capitol Hill and defending it. Pick a fucking direction, conservatives. You guys are defunding the police right now. Your president is defunding the police right now. And you're like, they're saying defund the police. Charlie Kirk, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. Huh. This isn't Islamophobia, punk chick. This isn't. What is this? Did he just say all Muslims are terrorists? What's he getting at here? I have RVC muted. Oh, let me check that, Jen. What's he saying here, Republicans? Just to give me I know, maybe I have a different understanding than you. What's he saying here? If that's not saying all Muslims are terrorists, what's he saying? That's as clear as you can get. I can't even think of a way to be a Republican right now, like put on my Republican hat and be like, let me explain it in a different way that you might understand. Where's my Republicans? How else should I be interpreting this right now? Any ideas? Do I see anybody? That's off. You'll give me this one? Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chick Punk Steve. We got there. That's off. It's because Charlie Kirk's a racist. Let's stay on Charlie Kirk for a second. When planes started crashing, Charlie Kirk went out and said, if I see a black pilot, I'm worried. Every year on Martin Luther King, on I guess it's called Civil Rights Day now, every year on that day, he chooses to take that day and not celebrate the civil rights movement, but to criticize Dr. King for cheating on his spouse and being a womanizer, while he also supports Donald Trump. If womanizing is a problem for you, but you'll have on Donald Trump and you'll have on Matt Gaetz and you'll have on and you'll support Pete Hegseth, then what's the difference between MLK and those three? He's just a racist, right? I hope you guys are seeing who Charlie Kirk is. Charlie Kirk is full fucking mask off right now. There's a reason when Charlie Kirk goes and speaks to colleges, it's a bunch of white dudes in red hats. They have a very similar ideology. There's a reason that you don't see like a lot of diversity in the people that follow Charlie Kirk. This is mask off. I hate Muslims. Muslims are bad. All Muslims are terrorists. Here's Tarloff. She said, she said what we said. This is so gross and Islamophobic. Take it down. Charlie Kirk said, debate me on the merits. Don't just throw out the petty thought terminating cliches. This isn't 2015. That doesn't work anymore. What Muslim country do you prefer to live in, Jessica? That's not an argument. It's not an argument. He's saying that Muslims, all Muslims are terrorists. What Muslim country do you prefer to live in? Are you saying that all Muslims would run their country like Muslim countries? Why are they here then? Why did they flee? His family fled Uganda. Why did they flee Uganda then? Why didn't they stay in Uganda? Oh, they came here to take over America and turn America into Uganda. The fuck are you talking about? Look, we've got him here. We've got him here. Here's the Charlie Kirk, folks. Watch the chat now. Facts. This is true. It's not conducive to Western society. I agree. Radical Islam, any religion. I don't want any religion involved in our democracy. I don't want it involved in our laws. None of them. I am every bit as afraid of Christian nationalism as I am of Sharia law. I think they're the same. Benny made a great point. They're the same. The weird thing is that Charlie Kirk wants Christian nationalism. Charlie Kirk will advocate all day for the same type of shit that Sharia law advocates for. But it's bad because in their eyes, it's a different God. That's the only real difference between them. They both want the same thing. They both have the same agenda. What Western city or country has improved as the Muslim population has increased? Ours. We're less violent now than we have been in decades. We have more Muslim people here now than we have in decades. Are you guys not making more money now? You just said that. Are we not making more money? Has America not been more prosperous in the last 30 years? As we've got more and more Muslim people into our country? America's largest city was attacked by radical Islam 24 years ago, and now a similar form of that pernicious force is poised to capture City Hall. If you leave out the word Islam and you just go belief by belief, like let's look at what Sharia law is. Let's just see if this is closer to tenets of Sharia law. Is this closer to what Charlie Kirk wants, or is this closer to what Mamdani wants? Sharia law, in its essence, is the moral code and religious law of Islam derived from the Quran and Sunnah. It provides guidance on all aspects of life for Muslims, encompassing worship, ethics, and social interactions. Key tenets include the 5 pillars of Islam, which are the foundation of Muslim practice: declaration of faith, prayer, almsgiving, fasting, and pilgrimage. Beyond these, Sharia also addresses family law, financial transactions, and criminal justice, aiming to create a just and merciful society. Oh, no. It's the same as what you guys say about Christianity. Well, yeah, Christianity's good, but there's some people who take it too far. Sharia law is good, but there are some people who take it too far. You use the extreme to demonize them. They use the extreme to demonize you. If you don't like being demonized, if you don't like being looped in with Christian nationalists, if you don't like being looped in with the KKK, if you don't like being looped in with the Proud Boys, if you don't like being looped in with the Westboro Baptists, then don't do it to Muslims. It's the same game people play on you. You're playing on them. It's the same exact fucking game. Do you see that? Be courageous enough as a liberal to call it out. I know deep down you are worried about what he will do. You are just afraid to say it. No. He's the fucking mayor. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Take over? You think he's just going to come in? He's like, Sharia law now. And the city of New York will be like, yeah, that's fine. And the governor of New York's just going to be like, yeah, that's fine. And the president of the country is going to be like, yeah, that's fine. This is just fear mongering, and it's out of hatred. It's out of racism. It's out of bigotry. This is complete and total fear mongering. Mamdani does not look like a radical Islamist in his views. In fact, he's on the exact opposite side. And ironically, he's also on the exact opposite side of you. And what does that say about you? You and the radical Islamists kind of share the same ideology. He's on the other end of that. I don't know why you guys are afraid of it, other than you just think like, but we want our religion to be the one that's in charge. Would you support net zero immigration moratorium to America? Don't let them in. The mask is off by these Republicans today. Here's a Twitter user that I often see, Dr. Maloof. Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Let me show this.
Finally.
Let me show this real quick while you're here. Watch it because you'll like this. So this is the tweet. This one just made me laugh. The tweet is, "This is London after almost 10 years of having a Muslim mayor. New York could soon become like this." Now, trigger warning. This is going to be terrifying. Okay, this is very scary. Jen, trigger warning for you too. Don't be too afraid of this. Oh no! No! Their shirts are off. By the way, this was from 2018. It was like some protest about like they were protesting that they wanted more public transportation. Yeah.
Okay.
They're just Muslims and they're dancing with their shirts off. It's terrifying. Hey, Jen.
I mean, that can look like any NFL football game.
It looks. I would say it looks like the Haka, like the New Zealanders.
That too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, what I was kind of referencing too is like when people go and like they go shirtless in like 20 degrees outside at a football game.
Oh yeah, you're saying this is like Cleveland Brown fans?
Yeah. I mean,
I hear you.
I mean, if that freaks them out, then they probably should stop watching football. But
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, it's all about fear. None of it makes logical sense. But yeah. So fun fact, when Jay was talking trash about me earlier, he did that on purpose because he had me muted. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I can't remember what I said about you. What did I say?
You blamed me for having issues going live on time.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
And I don't know if you saw my other screenshot that I sent you about John Gotti, where he was I had to correct him. He said, well, he wondered how bad I beat you. And I had to let him know that we haven't met in person yet. So the only beatings you get from me are the verbal kind.
Yeah, but she makes me do I have to do my own lashings and she watches and counts them.
I mean, but see, it's not me.
It's the psychological warfare that hurts the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, it's your lie. You tell it. All right, so we've got about 2 hours left in the show. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. We're pretty far away from our gift goal. We are crowdfunded, so we need your guys' help to keep doing this each day. So how we can get help with that is Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking down that gift goal. Between the Twitch chat with about 132 people and 638 on YouTube. If we all sent $1, we'd more than blow out this goal. So that would be very cool if you guys could help us out with that. Also, please subscribe to us if you haven't already on Amazon. On Twitch, you can use your Amazon Prime sub and use Jeff Bezos' money. You can do a free subscription on YouTube. But if you'd like to help support us, additionally, we've got 4 different memberships over on YouTube. If you guys disagree with RTP, you can come and talk to him in real time. And how you do that is if you look at the Venmo name, that's my Discord username. So if you DM me on this Discord, add me over there, JenDub1. I can bring you on and talk to him real time. You don't have to just disagree in the comments. So you don't, and most of you guys don't typically send a message and request because you're scared, just like you're scared of Cleveland Brown fans and whatever that's going on in London. So yeah, check out our link tree in the bio. We are on most social media platforms. We have merch. Jay's on Cameo, and we also upload these episodes to Spotify, which I just remembered I need to upload yesterday's because I spaced it. So if you guys could help us out with the gift goal and all the other good stuff, that would be awesome. So did you know in Texas it's illegal to serve pie without ice cream?
I did not know that.
Texas always remember the owl mode.
Stupid. Look, I see that the folks that are heavily influenced by right-wing propaganda, and you guys want to talk about the rape gangs in London, and those gangs, which, by the way, like that's not what they are. They're not rape gangs. They're gangs, and they also abuse women, rape women. If you look in America, in fact, I can look here. Like there was just a child sex trafficking ring that was busted in Texas, and it was run like the leader was a Christian pastor. The problem is radical religious people, and it's people who hide, evil people who hide behind religion. That's the real problem. You would all agree, those of you who are Christians, you would all agree that these people who get caught hurting children, Catholic priests, pastors, like just Google pastor sexual abuse and see what comes up in America. You guys would all say like that they're not real Christians. They're not real Christians. That's not what Christianity teaches. And Muslim folks say those aren't real Muslims. They're just hiding behind it to get access to people. It's one of my real problems with religion is that because you have a strong belief, and because if somebody has strong belief that is similar to yours, if you believe in the same things, you're more likely to trust that person. And then that person is most likely to be the one that abuses you. You're the most likely person to abuse you is somebody you trust, a family member, a priest, a family friend, something like that. But if even just looking here, like I've got names here, Nason Garcia, the leader of the La Luz del Mundo, an international Christian religious organization, arrested on charges including human trafficking and child pornography. Pastor Gideon Jacob, head of a Christian-run orphanage in India, arrested on child trafficking. Just human trafficking, is children and adults. Pastor Bernard, identified as leader of a child trafficking syndicate in Nigeria. Israel Barrios, a suspended Catholic priest, arrested on child exploitation and trafficking. Apollo Quilbly, Filipino pastor facing sex trafficking charges in the Philippines and the United States. Self-prescribed pastor in New York, New Jersey, indicted for sex trafficking. Leader of religious, that's the same. I already read that one. Mountain Home pastor, person of the year. What was it in Idaho? A pastor named Gregory Jones from the Liberty Fellowship Christian Church in Mountain Home, Idaho, charged and arrested with sex trafficking. It's religion. Stop it. It's not Islam. It's not Christian. It's religion. People use religion to hide behind, like to mask themselves as hideous people. They put on, and these folks that dress in Muslim garb and go through the UK and they attack children and women and men, they are hiding behind their religion to attack people. And that happens here too. What happens is you see that and they scare you. And this is exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly what the fuck Charlie Kirk does. He says, look, Muslim do bad thing, all Muslim bad, don't allow Muslim. And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, well, I don't want to take a chance. Maybe they're all like that. But you don't hold that. You don't hold that same standard when it's somebody who looks like you. Right? I'm not making excuses. Ban all fucking religion. Ban all of it. Ban all of it. But if you are so fucking dumb that you think that this doesn't happen with other religions, it doesn't happen here. I'm Mormon. I grew up Mormon. My church has had to settle a lawsuit with the Boy Scouts of America. I don't think any organization in American history has abused more children than the Mormon Church and the Boy Scouts of America. I don't think any of them have. They have done far more damage. Christians have done far more damage, far more raping in America than all of the Muslim gangs combined in the UK. And it's not fucking close. It's not even remotely fucking close. So why is it that you're afraid of Muslims? Why is it? Because they look different than you. They think different than you. They believe different than you. They talk different than you. Their culture is different. So it's really fucking easy for you to take somebody who you don't understand and see the worst of those people and apply the worst of those people to everybody. The same shit that you get mad at us. Well, the KKK endorses Trump. And you're like, well, that's not all of us. Just apply it equally. It's driving me fucking nuts. And what drives me nuts is like, I don't give a fuck if you're racist. I could give a fuck. I give a fuck that you're stupid. That's what I have a problem with. I give a fuck that you are so easily conditioned by media that you now have taken a very small group of people and you have applied it to millions of people as an excuse to mistreat them, which is why you don't give a fuck that Muslims are being slaughtered in Gaza. It's why you don't give a fuck that we bombed Iran for no fucking reason. It's why you don't give a fuck that we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan and that we bombed innocent people in Yemen 4 weeks ago. It's exactly this type of rhetoric that makes it impossible to have peace. And then you guys all say the same thing. We'll never have peace until, yeah, no shit. I wonder why we keep having war. I wonder why we keep fighting. Because you take the fringe element of Islam and you take the fringe element of Christianity and you apply it to the whole, and then we go to war over it. Again, if you're racist, fine. But stop being fucking stupid. Just do the math. How many people are here in America that are from a Muslim country? And what percentage of them have ever been caught abusing children? Spoiler alert, it's a much smaller percentage than Christians. Born in America, Christians. Just don't let yourself be duped like that. Racism is really just like for stupid people. You can't be a free thinker, you can't be intelligent and be racist. It's thought stopping. And that's where you're at right now, is you're applying a small group of people to a whole as a way to be a bigot. And then you get to justify your bigotry. And when people point out that you're a bigot, you're like, oh, you guys don't see reality. You don't see reality. How many Muslims in the world? Let's see. How many Muslims?
Real quick, update the gift total.
I will. Okay, I will.
Okay.
2 billion. 2 billion Muslims in the world. And you're going to say we can't allow Muslims to come to our country because of the actions of, what, a few hundred people in the UK? I think I'm being generous saying a few hundred. How many people have been arrested in the UK? I doubt it's a few hundred. Let's see. 7 men, 6 men, 5 men. It might not be 100. If anybody has a comprehensive list, give me a comprehensive list. You're going to say that like 100 people is representative of 2 billion people and that we should apply what those 100 people did to everybody? This is why we're fucked. This is why we're consistently fucked. It's why we can't have good things ever. I want to show this, though. We're going to get to happiness now. I'm done with the racist for a minute. Look at this crowd at Mamdani's victory party. Now, if you saw Cuomo's party, everybody's dressed in suits and ties. It's mostly elderly people. There's a few young people, not very many. Mamdani's crowd is the future. This is America. Look how young this crowd is, and look at the joy when they announce. And I think that, I don't even know if it's joy. I think they're shocked. People on the left, people on the farther ends of the left are so used to being ignored and underrepresented that you see like so many of them grab their head like, oh my God, we actually won. And I'll update the goal while this is going. There we go. Even this dude's face, like, oh my God. Rebecca, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Amy said, when you push for religion to be put in, don't be surprised if it's not yours, or they include all religions. That's America. Yeah, agreed. Like Jen said, if we all joined the Dollar Train right now, we knock out that goal in a hurry. Here is Mamdani reintroducing himself in a very New York way.
And so, to quote the words of a famous New Yorker, allow me to reintroduce myself.
My name is Hove.
I was born in Kampala, Uganda, in East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first Prime Minister of Ghana. And decades ago, in Uganda, we won our independence from the British in 1962. We can clap for that. And when we did, the United States government gave the Ugandan government 23 scholarships as a gift for independence. And my father won one of those scholarships. He came to this country to study to be an engineer at the University of Pittsburgh. And sometime into his studies, his face buried in his book, he heard the words reverberate in the corridor around him, "Which side are you on? Which side are you on?" These were words being sung by members of SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, recruiting students to get on the bus to go to Montgomery, Alabama. And my father got on that bus. He marched. He was hosed down. He was thrown in jail. He was given one phone call. And he called the Ugandan ambassador to the United States. He said,
"Thank you, Denise, for joining the Dollar Train.
Can you get me out of jail?" The ambassador said, "What are you doing in jail? We sent you there to study." My father said, "You sent me here as a gift for our freedom. They are fighting for theirs. It's one and the same." And so I was raised with this understanding that freedom and the fight for it is interconnected. And as I look across this city today, I am reminded that freedom is only worth as much as our ability to exercise it. Because we hear politicians of the past come on stages across this city, including this one, saying that they believe this is the greatest city in the world. But they do not answer the question that Dr. King posed decades ago. What good is having the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford to buy a hamburger? What good is being the greatest city in the world if New Yorkers can't afford to live here? What good is it if our own people cannot afford their rent, their childcare, their groceries, even $2.90 for their Metro card? What good is that but making a museum of what once was in the city that we love?
Imagine hearing that and then being afraid. What's there to be afraid of? His religion. That's it. His skin color, his beard, which is why Andrew Cuomo, when Andrew Cuomo put out pictures of him, lengthened his beard and darkened his skin. And I might remind you that Jesus probably looked a lot like Mamdani. A lot like Mamdani. Would you guys let Jesus in? You'd be afraid of Jesus. If you saw Jesus walking around with that long hair in a robe with a beard, you'd all be afraid of him. You'd accuse him of being part of a rape gang. You understand that, right? Like this thing that you guys are doing right now, where you're taking people's appearance and you're judging them, like Jesus would be included in that. You'd just be looking at him like, stay in your own country. We don't want Sharia law, Jesus. Sully said, I appreciate all you do. Rory, thank you for joining the Dollar Train. Appreciate you. All right. Here's Chris Cuomo uh, who's obviously frustrated that his brother lost, but I don't know. I didn't watch CNN enough to know who Chris Cuomo was. Maybe this is always who Chris Cuomo was. But here's Chris Cuomo just doing full-on Islamophobic, socialist phobia, fear-mongering while he copes for his dumbass, bitch-ass brother losing. Oh no, my corrupt brother lost. How could New York not choose my corrupt sex pest brother? How could they?
The majority is not afraid of migrants, as Trump may like, but they are.
Yes, they are.
Afraid of these guys, Iranian nationals with jihadist sympathies. You let them in with a laxity that AOC and other radicals insisted on. And the far left.
Who are we letting in? Who are these Islamic radicals that we're letting in, by the way? In fact, like most of the Islamic terrorist attacks that have happened in the United States, like it just total number of actually attacks, not number of victims, because obviously 9/11 is going to skew that. But a lot of those were American-born Muslims.
Is actively embracing people who are the enemy. Pro-Hamas, people who chant globalize the.
Who is pro-Hamas? This is I'm going to cut this motherfucker off this whole time because this is some bitch shit from Cuomo. This is some bullshit, bitch shit, dumb shit, 25 IQ shit, inbred brain shit. Nobody, almost nobody, and I don't know of a single politician who is pro-Hamas. I've never heard it ever. He gets funded by Israel. His brother gets funded by Israel. Nobody, they know that they can't say pro-Palestinian because that's just, we don't want innocent people being slaughtered. So you have to change it. You have to straw man it. You have to say it's pro-Hamas, but nobody is pro-Hamas. This is some bitch shit.
The Intifada, the Palestinian uprising characterized by over 130 suicide bombings? Really? And I'm not picking on AOC. I respect her success in developing a following. I just think that she's killing her party. She is a deranged form of Democrat. And I'm
deranged. For what? What's he talking about? For endorsing someone who's Muslim? What's deranged about this? I want you to notice that he has given 0 examples so far. We're a minute in. They can't even articulate what's deranged because this is just like covered over Islamophobia. When you can't provide any specifics, that might not be the real message here.
I'm pointing her out because.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. All you do and knowledge and research you and your team provide. Thank you. We're working hard.
She's at the top of the food chain. A recent CNN poll found she's the top Democratic leader who best reflects the core values of the Democratic Party. And this is by Democratic voters.
So then what the fuck are you talking about, dipshit? She's the voice of the party. She's not ruining the party wants more of her. The party's like, we want more of her. And he's like, she's ruining it. How? By listening to the constituents? This is the fight. This is the fight that Democrats need to have. We got dipshits like Cuomo, like, most people, the majority of the people really like her, and that's fucking this whole shit up for my brother. Yeah, that's where people want to go. Very few of these other people, like, offer any change.
She ranked higher than Harris, Jeffries, Newsom, even Obama. Are you kidding me? She couldn't be less about what made the Democratic Party great. And I get to say that.
Oh, you do? What made the Democratic Party great? I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's been that great. When Obama was president, he ran on universal health care. And then he got into office and his own party forced, instead of doing single payer universal health care, they forced him to bring in the insurance companies and just have government subsidized health care. That's not great to me. When Bernie Sanders was everybody's favorite candidate in the DNC, what'd they do? They used their sets of rules with super delegates so they could push Hillary Clinton. When were they great? When were we last great? When was the DNC great? This is what we want. Our biggest problem, the reason that we all fucking hate our leaders is because we vote for somebody like Obama, we vote for somebody like Bernie, we vote for somebody like AOC, and then they get to Washington and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We got AIPAC to deal with. We got the banks to deal with. We got big oil to deal with. We've got all these donors that we've got to give favors to. So shut the fuck up with your radical shit. That's why we all hate the Democrats, because we try and we vote for change, and then they're like, nah. For fuck's sake, she's the most popular person in our party. We can't get her any significant position. That's why he is so wrong about this. What made him great? Chuck Schumer made the party great? Your bitch ass brother made the party great? No. What Andrew Cuomo is, what Chris Cuomo is, what Nancy Pelosi is, what Chuck Schumer is, they're just conservatives. They're just sell you out to big business conservatives who also occasionally get on the right side of history with social issues. That's the only real difference between Mitt Romney and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. There's like a few social issues that sometimes separate them.
She is not a real one. I was raised by a real one. Google Mario Cuomo. Google Teddy Kennedy. Google Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
I was raised as a Nepo baby. And let me name some other people who got really rich and then had spoiled Nepo baby kids who didn't accomplish anything in their life but got a position because of who their daddy was. Let me mention the Kennedys. Let me mention all these people who got everything they have because of their name. Not a real one. Fuck off. She was a bitch. She was so smart she got into I always forget. I always say Brown and it's not Brown. Where did she go? Did she go to NYU? Brown, I always forget what school she went to. She was a very gifted student. Then she was a bartender to make ends meet, and then she won a grassroots campaign against like the I think it was the minority leader, wasn't it? Yeah.
Google any of the legends. You know the names. Remember the ideas.
What were they?
Mario Cuomo was a child of immigrants. He was considered less than himself. He would have never allowed a porous border or fake fights. And
he was the governor of New York, you dumb fuck. He couldn't control the border. Bro, this guy's like, the more I hear him talk, the more I'm like, he's just stupid. He would never have allowed a porous border. What? Bitch, you live in New York. You're a governor. You don't control the border.
Socialistic calls for free everything.
Nobody's calling for free everything. Mamdani's not calling for free everything. He's calling for taxpayer-funded programs. This is like some straight up propaganda. This is why we hate the fucking Democrats. He is just licking Republicans' assholes right now. This works on Republicans. This doesn't work on Democrats.
Especially when there was a real bill to battle for Medicaid and tax breaks for the working class. AOC is popular because extremism drives social media and magnifies minorities.
No, that's why you're popular. You're popular because of the media. You're popular because of this type of shit. AOC is popular because she ran a grassroots campaign. AOC is popular because she advocates for the things that we view actually help people. This is all projection by this guy who's just sore that his brother was exposed and lost. Despite spending millions of dollars and having the entire establishment behind him, he lost. This is Jeb Bush. This is Ted Cruz. This is Marco Rubio. This is sour grapes. I understand now what you Trump people saw with the Republican Party. Now, I still think Trump's a dipshit, but like I understand what you were saying with Trump, like why you see it. Because when your party just comes out against them and they don't have anything real to say, it's transparent.
Pissing people off pays off. But radicals keep missing the rational majority. AOC and the radical left are the party of 20% when the country is the other 80%.
The majority just voted for Mamdani. You just showed a clip that said that a majority of people, look, who was at the top of that list? It was AOC. It was Bernie Sanders. Who's it? The radicals are the popular people, dude. You're forgetting now it's the minority. You're forgetting about the people who are really just conservatives that are good on social issues. You're forgetting about us. Why are you doing radical change when we can keep things exactly the same and keep getting our dicks kicked in by below average Republicans?
Only 4%. say Iran getting a nuke is not important. Only 18% say that men who identify as women shouldn't play in women's or girls' sports. Only 1 in 3 voters say foreign students who support terrorists should stay here.
Okay. But AOC and Mamdani don't support foreign students who support terrorists.
Only 16% of Americans want deportations to stop. Only 27% of voters support abolishing ICE. And forget about defunding the police.
Okay. Who's pushing these? Is AOC talking about abolishing ICE? None of our arguments that deportation should stop. We're saying that we should do them humanely. I understand this. 18% biological men can compete in girls, women's, or sports. Like, I think that that's the framing of that question is disingenuous, but that's fine. I understand that my position on that is a minority issue, and not important if Iran gets a nuke. All right. These aren't issues we're running on. These aren't Mamdani issues. These aren't AOC issues. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I've no idea. The way that these are framed, AOC doesn't agree with any of these. Like, if you frame them a little bit differently, maybe, but then I think the polling numbers would change too. Like, if you said, should ICE be going in, should ICE be raiding workplaces in masks and recording it and making propaganda movies? I think 90% of Americans would be like, no. Right? Just framing the question a little bit differently. Should we reform ICE so that ICE isn't able to just go around and do these kidnappings and kidnap American citizens? I think like 90% of Americans would say yes. What if you changed, should we figure out a way to make sports more fair so that a trans person may not have an unfair advantage competing against women in sports? And people would say, yeah, like 90% would be like, yeah, we should. It's the way that these are framed to get you this answer, but this isn't our position on anything. This is just fear-mongering from Chris. He's supposed to be on this side. He just fear-mongers because his brother lost?
Abolishing ICE. And forget about defunding the police or free everything.
Those aren't.
Everything.
Now, Mamdani did say defund the police, in all fairness. I don't know what his actual position is there. There's like, some people say defund the police, like get rid of the police entirely. Most of the people I know that say defund the police, it's like we want to defund the police and start over from scratch and use that funding for more effective ways of policing. I don't actually know what Mamdani's position is on that, so I'm not going to speak on it. But just saying it blanketly like this in these statements is just fear mongering. Just explain his position. That's your fucking job, dude. Your job is to like report on the news. What is his position? And then explain his position accurately. And then have an opinion on it. But instead of explaining any of these positions accurately, he's just like fear-mongering generically, and this works, and Republicans love this. He's just dick-riding moderates here.
Thing that she represents is a fringe fascination. And that is what that party has become. And this is a wake-up call. You will not get back to where you want to be by abandoning everything that the majority finds reasonable.
Yeah, and nobody did that. Nobody's doing that. Cuomo can kiss my ass. Here's all right. I like this. One of the big things Republicans are going to talk about today, and I'm only speaking to conservatives. Actually, I'm speaking to everybody. Thumbs up if you think the government running a grocery store or grocery stores is a good option. And by good option, by the way, what I'm saying is, will it provide groceries to people? Will the prices be affordable? And will it fix the problem that we have in more rural areas where grocery stores don't want to go? These big chains, like, they need a big base. So do you think like more rural areas or areas where a grocery store can't fit in? Thumbs up if you think the government should run those grocery stores. Thumbs down if not. And I do want to see I do want to see Republicans here too. Democrats officially going socialist because first of all, democratic socialism is not the same as socialism, but it's pretty wild to say that like this is socialism because the mayor is a democratic socialist. I don't see any thumbs down. Are we all in agreement? Republicans, are we in on this too? All right, thumbs down from Jungle Juice there. I see mostly thumbs up. There we go. I like that. Are the Republicans here with us? This is going to make my next video not quite as cool. Daniel says no. All right. Well, it's been tried. I'm going to show you a video from somebody that I really don't like very much. But they did the best presentation I have ever seen on this. This is Jimmy Dore from about 5 years ago. If you don't know who Jimmy Dore is he's a comedian, political commentator, found himself, it was mostly on the left. And then during COVID, he became like an anti-vaxxer. And then now he's just like a right-wing extreme. Like he went from far left to far right. But this was a presentation he did 5 years ago on government-run grocery stores. And I think you'll be surprised to figure out where the test run was and who did the test run.
So speaking of groceries, there is a town...
It has a test run. Great news. There you go, Storm Falcon. Here's the test run.
In Florida. There's a town in Florida called Baldwin, Florida. And 68% of the 1,600 residents of Baldwin, Florida, where the median income is $44,000 a year, they voted for Trump, right? And here's where it is. You can see where it is. It's right by Jacksonville. It's up there. It's about a 20-minute drive to the ocean.
Lovely. Jacksonville's one of the most lovely places in Florida.
Baldwin to the ocean. And, well, guess what happened? Recently, they lost their only grocery store, which has been a particular hardship for the large number of seniors who live there, many of whom are no longer able to drive. So what did they do? Bunch of Trump voters, what did they do? Well, they opened up a city-run grocery store that operates on a break-even basis with the clerks, stockers, butchers, and other staff all drawing paychecks from City Hall.
Oh, and all getting benefits, too. Because it's a government job, they're also getting benefits. So these aren't like Walmart jobs. These are good jobs. These are jobs that you can afford to live on. And you get benefits.
Isn't that something? Yes. Well, this is the definition of socialism. This is unquestionably a socialist enterprise, but the town's residents don't see it that way. As Mayor Sean Lynch, a retired Navy vet, told Washington Post, we take the water out of the ground and we pump it to your house and charge you. That's called socialism. So what's the difference with the grocery store? There's no difference. They're both socialism. They're both fucking...
You guys got a private company pumping your water there? Ambulance said slavery at one time made the Democratic Party. The progressives left and the conservatives went right. Dems became the progressive party. Yeah, I saw somebody arguing like the Dems started the KKK. Yeah, we know. But they show up at your rallies now, so figure that out.
Socialism. When the government sends something to your house and then you pay the government for providing a service, that's called socialism. That's what it is. People don't want to think that. Well, what about, just like paying for the fire department? That's fucking socialism.
Wait, Jimmy, what about libraries that they open at the public expense and anybody can go there? That's not socialism, is it?
Socialism.
What about police departments, libraries, parks, street cleaning, snow plows?
So I'm guessing that a lot of these people get up in the morning, they put something in their mailbox, they put their garbage out on the curb, and then they send their kid to public school, but they're not fucking socialists.
No.
They are not socialists.
That's not socialism.
No. So far, though, the experiment has been a success. The town council had hoped to take in $3,500 a day, and sales have routinely exceeded that. So their socialism is working really well down there. And the idea that municipalities should have to beg... So this is the mayor talking. He says the idea that municipalities should have to beg private companies to provide basic goods and services to its people is absurd. And being able to say we will just do it ourselves is very powerful.
Yeah. See, here's the problem, you dipshit motherfucking Republicans. You've been duped. You've been lied to your entire life that socialism is bad. And it's a coordinated effort by the richest people in the country to scare you from socialism. So what they do is they find any time that the word socialist is used, and where things went bad, like Germany. Now, did Germany crumble because of socialism, or did Germany crumble because they invaded other countries and the world fucked them up? It was because the world they invaded other countries and the world fucked them up. I think Hitler gained power, like got power in like 1929, and like by 3-4 years later, they're invading other countries. That had nothing to do with socialism, and he brought in all the industries with him and the churches. They had capitalism there. It was not a socialist country. But they did try and do like some socialist programs, just like we do here in America, with trash and with libraries and with schools and with the police and with the fire department and with your water and with your power and virtually everything that happens in your house is socialism. You pay in, the government provides the service. If we want to define socialism that loosely, but you guys have all been told that it's scary. It's so scary. It always ruins everything. But you guys never talk about Sweden. You don't ever talk about Scandinavia. You don't ever talk about Canada. You don't ever talk about what Mexico's doing. What's Mexico doing right now? They don't have a lot of money. And they found out that now they can, what are they mining? Is it silicon that they're mining down there? What's that big mine that they have in Mexico? Can't even remember what is it? Their new one. What is it? What was the new mine they found out near out towards like Cabo? I can't remember what it is. Anyways, they decided that instead of giving that money to some capitalist, lithium, thank you, lithium, instead of just giving that money to the capitalists and letting the capitalists keep all the money, they'll take the profits from that mine and they'll reinvest it in their country. And that pays for education. And that pays actually for the crackdown that they've had on cartels. And by lifting people out of poverty, less people will be incentivized to join a cartel. Less people will be incentivized to run drugs. It's a dangerous business, but in a lot of these communities, what's your option? Stay poor and hungry or go join the cartel and have money? Yeah, it's dangerous, but at least while you live, you'll have some money. All of these countries, it's what America did. It's how we recover from World War II. It's what the GI Bill is. It's what the VA is. It's what Medicare is. It's what Medicaid is. A lot of the reasons that we've been as successful as we are because of government-funded programs. And you've been led to believe that it's bad. But the only people it seems to ever hurt are the richest people. And it doesn't really hurt them. It just makes them not way more rich. But this is in red state, rural Florida, Trump country Florida, and they're making the socialist arguments like, why should the grocery store keep all the profit? Why don't we just do the grocery store and we'll take that profit and we'll pay people, and those people that will have good jobs will invest their money in the community, and that'll help build up other businesses. Oh, and we'll do it net revenue, we'll do net revenue. We're not going to try and make money off of this. We're just going to try and be equal. So we'll keep the prices literally the lowest they can because we never have to pay out bonuses. We don't have to pay a CEO millions of dollars. We don't have to pay for any of this shit. We just have to pay our employees, and that's it. There's no other extra money that we have to go pay out to somebody else. That keeps prices lower, and that keeps people employed. Remember when Tucker Carlson went to Russia and was like, look at these grocery stores. Look how fucking cheap this shit is. This is amazing. Look at the public transit here in Russia. Why don't we do this? Because half our fucking country gets scared that's socialism. If we do that, then it's going to be Cuba immediately. That's why. You guys are scared of what a crazy thing to be afraid of. That you get to own your own means of production. And that heaven forbid, the money that you pay into taxes doesn't go to bail out businesses and bail out banks and give tax subsidies to the Walton family to build a fucking football stadium in Denver. Oh, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid, instead of all of that shit, instead of all those handouts to rich people, heaven forbid your kids have a good education. Heaven forbid you get like 6 weeks paid time off like virtually every other country has. Heaven forbid, right? That's so scary. We can't do that. Socialism's scary. You know who started the scare of socialism? You know who was funding that initially? And we ran it through schools. We ran propaganda videos at school. Anybody know? Pulitzer, Hearst, Henry Ford. The fucking Nazis. How come why were the Nazis anti-socialist? How come the Nazis in America were the ones that were warning you about socialism? If the Nazis are socialists, then why were the Nazis warning you about socialism? They wanted to keep the money. And socialism doesn't let them keep the money. Because you know what would have happened? If we had socialism during Henry Ford's day, you know what would happen? Henry Ford wouldn't be that rich. But you know who would have more money? All the people that worked for him. Remember when, like, most of our grandparents, my grandparents worked at a place called Geneva Steel. It was in Utah. It was a steel company. And it was one of those companies that wound up leaving the country in the, I guess it was like the mid 90s. And it was a massive problem for our economy, but it was one of those jobs that got offshored. But everybody that worked at Geneva Steel worked there for ages and ages and ages. Why? Because the benefits were incredible. The retirement was incredible. Why? Because they were forced, because we had much higher taxes when Geneva Steel was running. I think it started in the 70s. We had much higher taxes, and businesses were incentivized. You can either pay the government those taxes, or you can invest in your people. And so they gave them great benefits. They gave them tons of paid time off. They gave them great retirement. There were all sorts of options. They gave them health care because they would rather pay their employees than pay the government. And then Ronald Reagan showed up, and Ronald Reagan said, hey, we're going to lower everybody's taxes. And all these rich people, you know what they're going to do with that money that they keep? They're going to invest it in their companies, and they're going to invest it in other countries or companies, and we're going to have this explosive growth. And 10 years later, all our manufacturing was overseas. Why? They weren't incentivized. There was no reason for them to pay their employees more, because they could just look at Taiwan, they could look at India, they could look at China. They could be like, oh, I'll just manufacture it over there. I don't even have to pay, because they all have universal health care, so I don't even have to pay health care. So I'll just ship my jobs over there. Fuck all these people, and I've got more money. People are inherently going to always try and keep their money, and it doesn't work. That's why we have all these offshore jobs, because there's no government interference anymore. The government should interfere. They have to interfere. Otherwise, we wind up where we are now. Ironically enough, how is Donald Trump trying to bring back manufacturing jobs, folks? What's his plan to bring back manufacturing? Where's my Republicans? What's Trump's plan to bring back American manufacturing? How's he going to incentivize American manufacturing? Anybody know? Tariffs. What's a tariff? It's a big fucking tax. Crazy. Isn't that crazy? The jobs left because we stopped taxing the rich people. And the only way to get the jobs back is to tax. But we can't tax the rich people, so we're just going to tax like everyday Americans. Isn't that interesting? We're still going to double down on trickle-down economics, though, right? Cut taxes, jobs leave. Come back. No. Fuck. Taxes. All right. That's actually his plan, is to put taxes, tariffs, which are a tax. He's going to put tariffs on you so that you have to pay for that manufacturing job to come back. And who's getting a tax cut? The rich people. The ones that are going to invest in these companies, that are going to buy these companies. And they are not going to pay any taxes. So they're going to clean up. And you are subsidizing that. That's what tariffs are. Tariffs are you subsidizing rich people to build manufacturing. But then what happens when those manufacturing jobs come back here? Then what? How are we going to keep those manufacturing jobs here? If I'm somebody and I bring manufacturing back to America and I want to make a lot of money, and then I can't find people to work because I'm not giving them benefits, then I might say, you know what? I'm going to shut this company down, and I'm going to move. I'm going to move to India. And maybe I'll keep my dual citizenship. Who knows? I'll just start my company over there instead. And then what are we going to have to do to fight that? We're going to have to do tariffs again. It's always taxes. Why don't we just tax them here? Maybe if we taxed people appropriately, those jobs wouldn't be able to be shipped overseas. Just a thought.
Yeah, I know. Socialism is very fucking powerful. Yes, that was the mayor saying that. What's that?
Oh, sorry. Let me read some of these comments. Amy Lynn said, many rural areas have had co-ops for generations. That's socialism or communism. Serious question. I mean, yeah, look, a co-op is a form. I don't know. I mean, socialism has a definition, and I think these all are like quasi-socialist, but that's what Mamdani is. He's a quasi-socialist. He's a democratic socialist. Tanya takes the pic, says happy hump day. Amy Lynn said, is it socialism that red states take more than they pay into the feds while dem states pay more and take less? Is that socialism or communism? That is ironic. Ironically enough, while blue states are paying the bills for red states are like, these fucking socialists. Why do they have more money than you then? Why do they have so much more money than you if their taxes are higher? Explain how that works. And then Amy said slavery at one time made the Democratic Party. Oh, I read that one. Tiger Lady said dollar train for me and my 4 friends. Thank you. Charles said not been able to help much lately. Here's a little. Charles, you just being here makes our day, but I appreciate that. That was kind. Kelly, thanks for joining the dollar train. Betsy says have as good a day as possible. Great show today. And did I miss any over here? Miss there. Let me check Jen's 15 messages. Tim, thanks for joining the dollar train, as well as Melissa. Cherry said, thank you for educating those who will listen. Carrie said, appreciate you and all you do. Susan, thanks for joining the dollar train. Izzy as well. Alyssa said, fuck religion, fuck Trump, fuck tax. Happy hump day, friends. Tax taking a beating. Norma said dollar train for 10 people. Pink, thanks for joining the dollar train as well. There we go.
No, they put your faith in, well, the government is us. No, it's the people. So the government is the mayor, who's a guy that lives next door to that guy, and they voted for him. What's that? Well, who is the government? The government isn't some outside force from Mars. The government are people that get to run for government that you know. So when you say government, you act like it's some outside force that's coming in. It's an occupying force. It's not. Government are people that are made up of in our communities. And what's problem is that the people who are elected to government are the people who have the most money right now because they have the most money to manipulate the system. And that's the problem. The problem isn't government. The problem is the kind of fucking government. Because everybody likes government. You like the fire department, don't you?
I do.
Sent _ did I not read your message? Sorry. By the way, if you saw Jimmy Dore now, if you go watch Jimmy Dore's show now, he's unrecognizable. It's pretty crazy. He once all of a sudden Jimmy Dore just sold out and he started getting a bunch of corporate money, and now his opinions are unrecognizable. I think I read all the messages, unless you sent them to Jen. I'll double check.
Do you like the fire department? Do you like roads? Do you like libraries? And do you like that kind of shit? Do you like the military? That's the fucking government.
You like electricity?
I hate cops. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. I'm all
there was for blowing out the goal. There you go. Thank you.
For unions, except cop unions. I don't think they should be able to have unions. So I hear your point. I get your point about that government's corrupt, and why would you want government to control things? Because government is corrupt. But this is a local government. They all know who's in the... So that's why when you say bring it home local, so it's less corrupt. And so they're running their own fucking... So there's a bunch of Trump voters who decided we need to have a grocery store, and we're not going to beg a capitalist to come fucking exploit us. We're going to do it ourselves. And guess what? It's working. Yeah. It's working.
And you know, Jimmy, this is on another level, but in California, we are the 5th largest economy in the world.
In the world.
Fourth now, I think.
World! So why don't we all have health care?
That was incredible timing by Fazimo. California had a large economy prior to it being a blue state. Bitch, it's the 4th largest economy in the world. That is unbelievable timing right there by Fazimo. California used to be great. Okay. It grew, bud. It's growing, bud. It's the 4th largest economy in the world. This was 5 years ago. It grew for 5 years ago. How'd that happen? That was unbelievable timing for you to make that comment.
Why don't we have affordable housing? So it's my government needs to work better for me, Gavin Newsom, who made promises.
So let me just ask this guy, what would you do in that situation? There's no grocery store. Would you say, well, I guess we should just stop?
No, it's not just because I don't want to hear it. It don't make it. Just because you don't want to hear it, don't make it a lie. You said a thing that wasn't true. What made it a lie is that it was fucking untrue. That's what made it a lie. California used to have a big economy, and now it is small because of it's a blue state. No, it's bigger. It's bigger now than it has ever been. This is the biggest it's ever been. In the history of California, this is the largest their economy has ever been. And whatever red state you're living in, you're fucking welcome. They're paying your bills for you. Not only can they pay their own bills, but they're paying your fucking bills too. Maybe that's why they run into some deficit spending. You guys don't ever talk about that, do you? California doesn't know how to control their budget. They have a deficit. Yeah, because they're paying your fucking bills, dude. They got all these leech-ass Republicans who don't work. Well, I'm just going to stay at home today. I'm going to stay at home and play video games. Why don't you pay my bills, California? Don't worry. The average pay in this Jacksonville town is $44,000. Yeah, fuck. I wonder why the average pay in this town's $44,000. I fucking wonder.
Arv?
Yeah. No, Amazon.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I just
Jimmy,
won this
I
argument.
would
think
rather-
I just won this argument. Okay.
But they've
Why don't you exercise your freedom to not have food?
Well, it also shows too, like what we talk about a lot is it's got to start on a local level. When we all get involved in our local, when we put progressives and socialists in our school boards and our local small town mayors and stuff like Gail McLaughlin did that, and what was that city in?
All right, so up Richmond,
All right, I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to show that this idea from Mamdani that is radical, socialist, communist, jihadist, Islamist idea of government-run grocery stores has been piloted. And I think in Chicago they've done this. There's other cities now that have done it. But the first city to successfully do it was a Republican-led city who, when they're like, you're doing socialism, they're like, no, this isn't socialism. This is just us collectively using our money to provide a good that is available to all. And we are going to pay employees a living wage for this good. And there will be no capitalist who is making money off of this grocery store, but it's absolutely capitalism and not socialism. It just no, it's not. You're lying. It's not a capitalism. I just want to throw that. It fucking works, guys, and I think that's the frustrating part. But it's also like Mamdani opens this conversation, and it's going to open this conversation across the country. Mamdani winning in New York, it doesn't impact almost any of us that are here right now, unless you live in New York. But what it does is it opens the door for other people to go and have radical ideas like feeding everyone, radical ideas like public transportation, radical ideas like paid time off, radical ideas like universal health care, single payer health care. Yeah, these radical ideas that benefit everybody instead of a small portion of the population. It's opening the door. And there's the evidence is everywhere around us. We say this every day, but like, if our system is so good, why doesn't anybody copy it? What country is trying to copy our economic system? Nobody. Nobody wants what America has. They only want our money. That's it. That's it. They just want our money. But nobody wants to live like that. Nobody wants their country to be run like that. All right. Then I just want to show you Eric Adams. Then we'll move on from Mamdani. This is Eric Adams' response. Of course, Eric Adams, the Democrat. The party left me when I became a criminal and started only showing up on Fox News. I gotta say, like, first of all, ACAB, fuck Eric Adams. And second of all, Eric Adams. This is not going to go well for Eric Adams. He doesn't have any arguments against Mamdani, and it's going to be exposed here on Fox News. They don't know that he doesn't have arguments because they don't fucking know. But listen to these arguments.
Democratic socialist. He wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum.
Guys, I'm a plant. I'm a social. I just showed 20 minutes of a Republican town who ran a grocery store. Shut the fuck up. God damn.
Wage. How can someone...
Whenever information comes to me that I don't like, that I don't have an argument for, I claim that the person saying it is a plant and that they hate America because I'm too goddamn stupid to formulate an argument. Great argument, Republicans. This guy hates America. This guy gets paid. I don't know what he's saying, and I can't formulate a response. And I'm mad about that.
Vote for this.
He's a snake oil salesman.
Mm-hmm.
he will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of
Thanks, Jen. I'm a fight.
New York's high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is.
No, the assembly, the assembly, the city council. Everybody fucking knows that, dipshit. Everybody fucking knows that. This is not an argument. He can't do all this without the city council. Yeah, no shit. If you pass like 5th grade, if you pass the 5th grade, you know that like the mayor can't just write laws by themselves. Everybody fucking knows that. This is your defense, Eric? Well, he can't get any of that done. I went on Eric Adams' website and I saw his list of accomplishments and I saw his list of ideas. And guess what? All of his ideas require city council approval. And guess what else? All of his accomplishments required city council to pass a law. No fucking shit, dude. Everybody knows that. He's a snake oil salesman because he's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. And he's leaving out the part that everybody knows, that it's going to require city council. Have you ever seen a campaign before? Have you ever seen somebody run for governor? Guess what? When a governor promises something, he needs the state legislature. Guess what? When Donald Trump says he's going to do shit, he needs the Congress for a great deal of it. That's why we don't have a fucking wall on the southern border. Remember that? Why not? Because they didn't fund it. That's why. Yeah, everybody knows that, Eric Adams.
He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman.
No, he couldn't.
He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living. And this is what we've done in the city. And I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail.
You're going to get your dick kicked in. Because he just dusted Cuomo, and Cuomo's not a fucking idiot. Eric Adams is a fucking idiot. Eric Adams is in so much trouble. Did you know? In a debate, well, you're actually going to need the city council for that. And everybody collectively in the audience is going to go, yeah. You need the support of the people. Yeah, I won. I won the primary. The people are supporting me. Well, you're going to need more people on city council to align with your ideas. Yeah, we're probably going to vote for more people like that. Yeah, no shit, dude. You took money from foreign countries and then you sold out to Donald Trump. And you put, I win. It's not. You think this won't be as close as the primary?
And showing New York is we can't go backwards. And New Yorkers never surrender or quit. I'm never going to quit for the city that I love.
That is so interesting. You're in the position.
It's
so
very
you know
interesting.
You don't have the authority to do that. Yet he's running on all these promises he's not going to be able to fulfill. And New Yorkers are buying it.
Have they ever seen an election before? Have any of these dipshits covered a fucking election before? That's every fucking election. That's why you know Mamdani is a real fucking problem, because this is the best they could come up with. Yeah, well, he might not get everything done. Yeah, okay. All right, are you going to argue against his ideas? Well, I know that his ideas are very popular and that's why he won, but maybe he won't get them done. Well, if they're popular, then I think people will vote for other people like him, and maybe those ideas will get done. They can't touch any of his ideas. You got Chris Cuomo like, socialism bad, and then you have these dipshits like, well, if city council doesn't approve it, he can't get it done. That's your best? That's what you got, Fox and Friends? This is what you're coming up with?
Now, Cuomo did say he hasn't ruled out whether or not he's going to run as an independent, which means he would be on your ticket. He would run against you.
Go for it.
How would that affect your race in the field?
I've said this over and over again. People know me by saying 3 things: stay focused, no distractions, and grind. That's what
criminal. It's mostly criminal. People know you as a corrupt cop who turned into a corrupt mayor. I've never heard somebody like, what do you think of Eric Adams? Grind. Nobody thinks that. You can't just make up your own, like, I'm known for, and let me make this up. Sellout, yeah.
Everyday New Yorkers do. I'm a working class man. I'm probably the first working class union card carrying man in the history of this city. Andrew at this time should realize that the time has moved on. He just did not bring the energy of wanting to be mayor. And New York is, they have this.
What is this energy you're bringing, Eric? You're putting everybody to sleep right now.
Smell test. They know, do you want the job? You can't come out on
This is
weekends,
so-
go to a black church,
It's
go eat
so
fried
generic.
chicken, and all of a sudden saying that I have the black vote, I have the working class people vote. It's just not the reality. People know if you want the job. He didn't want the job.
What has your phone been like?
That's why I didn't get. That's why Mamdani won, because Cuomo didn't want it bad enough. It's all about heart, baby. Grind. You just gotta grind more. It's fucking stupid.
Since Mamdani
Jamar says boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Thank you very much.
won, who's a BDS guy, he is anti-Semitic. He's anti-Israel. He's going to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu if he comes to city. So now
He's anti-Semitic. He's anti-Israel. No, he's anti-Israel being allowed to be an ethno-state. That's it. See how the smears are fucking unbelievable. Like, do you know there were you had I forget, like I don't remember what it was, like was it like elderly Jews or something? I feel like it was something similar to like he has a lot of Jewish support. I guess those Jewish people don't know that he's anti-Semitic because he says that Palestinians shouldn't be slaughtered.
all of a sudden, Eric Adams, you might be the only thing to stop, along with Curtis Lewa, him from becoming the next mayor. What has it been like since the results have basically been all but official?
Of a lot of communications. I think I slept an hour and a half because the phone was going off all night. People understand this moment.
Coming back to you?
In a combination, a lot of people did.
Yeah, they're not coming back. Eric Adams is going to get absolutely trounced. He's going to split the Republican vote too. It's over in New York City, and that's great. I just want to point this out because I do think this is a misstep by Mamdani. I understand this sentiment. Let me say, first of all, I think Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. I think Benjamin Netanyahu should be in prison. I also don't think that a mayor can unilaterally arrest a foreign leader for coming to New York. I think it's a misstep. I understand the passion behind it. I don't know what he's gonna. If this becomes an issue, he's gonna have to figure out a way to message this differently.
And Mayor Mamdani, would you welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for? Given the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the U.S. unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor?
No, Jeff, we're not talking about the president. You fucking moron. We haven't talked about Trump at all today. Are you stupid?
Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
And Mayor...
I think that's a misstep. I just don't think you can say that. We'll see. We'll see who that offends. And how much of a problem that causes for him. But that was, yeah, it's not his fight. He doesn't have any rights to do that. He can't arrest Netanyahu, especially if he's here as a guest of the United States. Brad says, as I get older, I remember all the people I lost along the way. Maybe a career as a tour guide was not the right choice. All right. Are we going to talk about Trump now? Yeah, we'll talk about Trump now. Thanks for reminding me to talk about Trump, whoever that was that asked if we were talking about him. First, this was just weird. Trump's over at NATO, at the NATO summit right now. And let me just say this. This is weird, but I get why NATO's doing this. If you're NATO right now, you know, and if you've watched Donald Trump, you know you have to kiss his ass or he'll do nothing. But if you kiss his ass, he'll kind of ignore shit that he doesn't like. So here is what is it? NATO chief. What is his fucking name? It's like Chris something. Anyways, this is NATO chief talking about. Well, you just listen.
I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each
Mark
other.
Rutt.
They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easier to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes do strong language to
You have to use strong language. Everyone,
Daddy has to do strongly. He called him Daddy.
so you have to use a certain word.
I think
That's weird, but it works. Look how happy Trump is. Look how happy Trump is when he calls him daddy. You've never seen him smile so much.
And then daddy has to sometimes do strong language.
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a
He's so
certain
happy.
word.
It's good to see Trump happy. It's nice to see a smile on his face. Then General Rutt is then asked about his praise for Trump, and it continues. Again, I think it's ridiculous that you have to do this, but if you're NATO, like you want Trump's help, like you just have to talk about him like he's the greatest. If you're watching what happens in America, you know that if you praise and worship Donald Trump, then you can convince him to do the things that you want. It doesn't work to push back against him because he just freaks the fuck out. So I understand why they're doing this at NATO, but it is tough to watch. These are grown-ups calling each other daddy.
Thank you. Deborah Haynes from Sky News.
Hi.
Hello. The language that you have used when talking to Donald Trump has been notable because of its flattery. Today you called him daddy, and you sent a text message to him that was gushing with praise. Is this the way that you feel that you have to act when doing business with the US president, through flattery and praise? Isn't it a bit demeaning, and doesn't it make you look weak?
Thanks, Terry, for joining the Dollar Train.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a bit of a question of taste, but I think he's a good friend. And when he is doing stuff which is forcing us to, for example, when it comes to making more investments, I mean, would you ever think that this would be the result of this summit if he would not have been re-elected president? Do you really think that 7 or 8 countries who said, yeah, somewhere in the 2030s we might meet the 2%, we've now all decided in the last 4 or 5 months to get to 2%? So doesn't he deserve some praise? And when it comes to Iran, the fact that he took this decisive action, very targeted, to make sure that Iran would not be able to get its hands on a nuclear capability.
All right, I disagree there, but yeah, you do. You like, you just legitimately have to treat Trump like a toddler. They do this all the time. It was in California when Trump sent in the National Guard for no fucking reason. And then there was this big fight and things got escalated. The response from Republicans is like, well, you should have just let Trump do what he wants. Don't fight back with what he's saying because he will come after you. So the best thing to do with Donald Trump is just let it happen. It's like the same advice that you give for somebody with a new toddler. Like, just let them cry it out. Let them throw their fit and just love on them. Tell them that you love them. Hold their hand. And then eventually the tantrum will end and you'll get the old version of them back. I think that I think they might be watching Marco Rubio, and Marco Rubio, as far as politics go, as far as like playing the game of politics, Marco Rubio is killing it, and Benjamin Netanyahu killing it. They have convinced Trump to go back on. He's like, no wars. We're not going to be the world's police. And just a few months into the presidency, war hawks like Marco Rubio have got Donald Trump to bomb Iran and escalate tensions in Syria. And it's because of stuff like this. Like, Marco has watched Trump closely. He went from Trump decimating him to Trump's right-hand man. And it's because of like this filleting, bloviating, like weird shit. This doesn't happen with anybody. Like, no other politician has this ever happened to. Nobody ever talks about politicians like this, except for like Kim Jong-un, President Xi, and Putin. Like, people where their voting base, their constituency is actually terrified of them.
Ultimately, once the president makes a decision, his instincts are uncanny. And we have to appreciate that.
Sorry,
that's
it's
one
low.
of the things the people of the United States voted for, is a president who has incredible instincts about the right thing to do. And our job is to operationalize that. When he says, this is the direction I want to go, our job is not to spend all day trying to change his mind. Once he's made a decision, our job is to go out and make sure the president's orders are executed.
Guys, his gut is so good. I mean, I coaxed him along the way. The whole way through. It's just his instincts. No, it's not. Marco knows. Netanyahu knows. They just stroke him until he does what they want. Oh, I'm about to come. All right, can you bomb Iran? Yeah. They know. They know how to play this dipshit. You just jack him off for a while, and then he does what you want, and then you praise him. You don't take any credit. You're just this is like the same as Christians. Like, a Christian will go like win the Super Bowl, and they're like, "Thank you, Jesus. I couldn't have done this without you." He wasn't there, dude. That was all you. And they know this. They know they have to teach Trump like a deity, or treat Trump like a deity. So they just stroke his ego all day long, don't take any credit, and then be like, man, his instincts are right. Like it's like training a dog. It's like Pavlov's dog. You just condition them to respond the way that you want. And for anybody who thinks Trump's leading, that's silly. He's being led by people who are manipulating him because he's stupid, and he's easily manipulated.
That's the way administration.
Oh, Trump's worse than I thought. That's crazy. That's crazy. He's significantly worse than I thought he was going to be.
Administrations work. When administrations fail is when you're filled or surrounded by people who don't agree with you, and so no matter what the president orders, spend their time trying to undermine him. We have a president who's been elected. He's been very clearly, I mean, as clear as anyone who's ever been elected, outlined what his views are on everything, including foreign policy.
Yeah, including on not being the world's police. He is the greatest, most clear president ever. There's never been a president who was more clear on their policy. Oh yeah? Okay. Well, fuck it. We're bombing people in the Middle East. None of those wars ended. I don't know about that.
That's what the people of our country voted for. That's how our republic works. And our job is to go out and operationalize, execute on the president's vision based on really uncanny instincts.
Yeah, uncanny instincts. Cum tastes like fish fillet. That's gotta suck. Then Trump takes the stand at NATO, and he gets real mad because Caitlin Collins is there. And I honestly like Caitlin Collins and Trump's relationship is amazing. She is one of the only people who's allowed to like routinely piss him off, and I think he just probably finds her attractive. I've never figured this out, but Caitlin Collins and now I've got a bunch of reporters asking tough questions, and this is where we see the version of Trump where when you criticize him, like this is the toddler. So the Republicans that surround him, they're the ones that are calming the toddler down and conditioning him to act correctly, and then reporters who just ask him questions about his job turn him back into a temper tantrum.
Please, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, fake news, CNN?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Wait till you hear this question.
Thank you, sir.
You should really say how great our soldiers and our warriors are.
I think
Why are you not filleting? Why are you reporting about my lies rather than just saying how great the soldiers are? But she does it.
And our warriors are.
I think everyone appreciates our soldiers and our warriors. I do have two questions.
James, you dumb bitch. Hey, can somebody block James? James, we got you. I'm sorry that you're too fucking stupid to not click on a live and winding up in here. And you're apparently also too fucking stupid to not comment and too fucking stupid to Google how to block a YouTube channel. So we'll take care of it for you. Later, bitch.
Questions for you, Mr. President. You just cited Israeli intelligence on these attacks. Earlier, you said U.S. intelligence was inconclusive. Are you relying on Israeli intelligence for your assessment of the impact of the strikes?
Yes.
Now, this is also Iran made the statement, and it's also, if you read the document that was given, that Pete can talk about if you'd like, the document said it could be very severe damage.
Could be. By the way, the reporting on this has been correct. The reporting on this has been what they said. When she just asked, like, where's your intelligence from that the damage was more severe? The only intelligence we have that says the damage is more severe is from Israeli intelligence, who just says, yeah, it's worse. That's it. Unless they have something they're not showing us or not telling us.
But they didn't take that. They said it could be limited or it could be very severe. They really didn't know, other than to say it could be limited or it could be very, very severe. And you didn't.
Yeah, that's what everybody reported. Literally everybody reported that. He called her fake news. He criticizes them. And then he goes on to tell them exactly what they reported. This guy's he's so fucking stupid. It's painful.
Choose to put that. Because it was very early after. Since then, we've collected additional intelligence. We've also spoken to people who have seen the site, and the site is obliterated. And we think everything nuclear is down there. They didn't take it out. Okay.
That's based on what? Israeli intelligence. What does your intelligence say? Our intelligence says that we probably set him back a few months. Look, here's the article. Let's just see, here's what he's claiming is fake news. Okay. U.S. military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities last weekend did not destroy the core components of the country's nuclear program and likely only set it back by months, according to an early U.S. intelligence assessment that was described by 7 people briefed on it. 7. They have 7 sources on this who say simply that our intelligence, by the way, it doesn't say, and let's be clear, if their nuclear program is destroyed, that would not change this reporting. I feel like Americans don't understand what reporting is. They're reporting what our intelligence is saying. So if it turns out that our intelligence is wrong, CNN didn't report fake news. CNN isn't fake news. Our intelligence sucks. Their job is simply to tell you what our intelligence says, which is that it likely only set it back months. The assessment, which has not been previously reported, was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, which is the Pentagon's intelligence arm.
They're woke. They're too woke over there at Pete Hegseth's Pentagon. They hate Trump over there at Pete Hegseth's Pentagon. The analysis of the damage to the sites and the impact of the strikes on Iran's nuclear ambitions is ongoing, and look what they're saying, and could change as more intelligence becomes available. They're literally saying, this is what we know so far. This obviously could change. But the early findings are at odds with President Trump's repeated claims that the strikes completely and totally obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth also said that Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated. Okay, so the DIA assessment is that the U.S. set them back maybe a few months tops. They're reporting on a story. That's what our intelligence says. But because it's at odds with what Trump says, they call CNN liars, which is crazy. By the way, CNN isn't the only one who confirmed this. Many Republicans on the record have also said that this is what the report says. And Trump confirms that that's what the report says. Trump just says that he believes other intelligence over this intelligence. This entire story is reported correctly. It's accurate. And Trump confirms it. And you guys still are like, fuck CNN. Fuck them. You have no idea. You don't know what fake news is. You have no idea. You just assume if it's CNN, it's fake. It's not. That's an accurately reported story confirmed by everybody, including Donald Trump. Donald Trump has confirmed that that report does not conclude that it obliterated the nuclear program and that intelligence comes from Israel. All right. Here is here's Trump throwing a tantrum again about a report that is totally accurate and that he confirms. But because it doesn't paint him as a god, he's going to freak the fuck out like a toddler.
I just want to thank our pilots. You know, they were maligned and treated very bad, demeaned by fake news CNN, which is back there, believe it or not, wasting time.
Nobody maligned. By the way, we just showed, did they malign the soldiers there? Did they criticize the soldiers there? Did they say the soldiers weren't brave there? Did they disrespect anybody in that article? No. They quoted 7 sources who said that the site was not destroyed. That's it. That's the whole thing. And they're like, oh, they hate our military. They hate America. This is the type of dipshittery that you guys live off of. Well, if you guys say something that disagrees with Trump, then you hate America. You hate America, bitch. You love Trump. You don't give a fuck about America. You just love him.
Wasting it. Nobody's watching them, so they're just wasting a lot of time, wasting my time. And the New York Times, they put out a story that, well, maybe they were hit, but it wasn't bad. Well, it was so bad that they ended the war. It ended the war.
No, it didn't. It escalated the war. They kept fighting after that. What are we talking about? It kept going. It did not end the war. It was 3 days ago, 2 days ago. This guy will lie to you about something that happened 2 days ago, and Republicans are like, oh, let me swallow. Let me swallow. What the fuck? We all watched it. It didn't end the war.
Somebody said in a certain way, you know, that it was so devastating, actually. If you look at...
Listen, I appreciate it. If you think I have hate in my heart, that's fine. But you better apply that to this fucking dipshit, too. That's fine. If you want to criticize me, fine. I'm literally criticizing him, criticizing people, and you're like,
you are too critical. You're far too critical, and I don't like that. You have too much hate in your heart. Why would you hate Donald Trump? while he's sitting here criticizing people for telling the truth. You're so hateful.
Hiroshima, if you look at Nagasaki, that ended a war too. This ended a war in a different way, but
Yeah,
it was so
in the way that it didn't, and in the way that also it didn't end the war with Hiroshima and Nagasaki either. I don't know. I don't know if this guy knows anything about history.
devastating. What bothered me about these reports with fake reports put out by the New York Times, I call it the failing New York Times because it's doing terribly. Without me, it would be doing no business at all.
Not hateful though. None of that's hateful. Got it.
But, and by fake news, CNN and MSDNC, all of these terrible people.
That's a very funny nickname you give to MSDNC.
This is the leader of our country. He's spoken for a minute and he's just complaining about people not reporting correctly. He's at NATO right now. They're supposed to talk about real issues. This dumb bitch is like, the press doesn't like me very much, and I don't like the press, and they don't say nice things about our soldiers. Nobody asked.
People, they have no credibility. When I started, they were at 94% credibility. The media, now it's at 16%.
That's just a made-up thing.
And I'm very proud of it because I've exposed it for what it is. But
the left's hatred of Trump is based on a political psyop. Yeah, that's something that somebody that's a fucking idiot would say.
If you criticize the thing that I love, it's a psyop. I don't have any real arguments for this, so I call it a political psyop. By the way, you're welcome to come up here and debate any of these issues with me. All you have to do is message Jen, that's JENNDUBB1, on Discord, and she'll set you up. You can come up here. The username is the same as the Venmo username up there. And as a reminder, we are crowd-funded, and gift goal's almost wiped out. That's what we need every day to keep the doors open and the lights on here, and we appreciate your generosity. We also have paid memberships on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok, so you can find us there. Merch in the bio, Cameo link in the bio. We'll continue now with Pete Hegseth now. So Trump doesn't have any details, and so once Trump was done complaining about, he was asked a question about the report that they did not destroy the nuclear program of Iran. And he's asked the question, and he complains about the media for a while, but because he's too fucking stupid to explain it, then he just gives the microphone to Pete. He's like, to talk to Pete, and he just steps away. And so now here's Pete Hegseth, who is going to publicly suck off Donald Trump again.
For a tactical reason with President Putin?
Let him answer this.
Hello, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah. There's a reason the president calls out fake news for what it is. These pilots, these refuelers, these fighters, these air defenders, the skill and the courage it took to go into enemy territory flying 36 hours on behalf of the American people and the world to take out a nuclear program is beyond what anyone in this audience can fathom. And then the instinct of CNN, the instinct of the New York Times is to try to find a way to spin it for their own political reasons, to try to hurt President Trump or our country. They don't care what the troops think. They don't.
We're quoting you! We're quoting the fucking Pentagon, you dipshit dick sucker! We're quoting you! We're quoting the Pentagon! What are you talking about? Nobody went after the soldiers. The soldiers were great. Their leader's a fucking idiot. You're a dipshit. The guy next to you is a dipshit. They did great work. You didn't know what you were doing. We're quoting your intelligence. The audacity of you to take a report from our own intelligence agencies that says it didn't work just to hurt Trump. Don't put it out then. What do you want us to do? We're quoting you. You're mad at us for quoting you. Why won't you guys just ignore this story and talk about the bravery? Well, great. They were brave. Great. You're an idiot. The guy next to you is an idiot. We're not criticizing soldiers. I don't criticize the soldiers that went to Iraq. I criticize Bush. I criticize Cheney. I criticize Netanyahu. This is the same shit that they did. Well, you just don't love our troops. If you're criticizing our decision to go into Iraq, you need to support the troops. We do. We don't want them dead. We would like them to live, please. In fact, if we could reverse it and go back, I wish that none of them would have had to take that risk, because there doesn't seem to be a reason for any of this risk. I still have no fucking clue why we bombed Iran. Their uranium enrichment was at 60%.
This idea, I think people think like, oh, they'll just push a button and then it goes to 90%, and then they'll build these intercontinental ballistic missiles and they'll shoot New York City. All they have to do is push a button. They were nowhere close to nuclear weapons. And frankly, I think if they got nuclear weapons, they would just they would bomb Iran. Or, Israel. I don't think they're coming at us. I don't think they have the ability to get to us. So I don't know why we bombed them still. God bless those soldiers, and they were good at what they did, but their leaders are dipshits, and you're trying to spin this story. We're taking your information. You guys put out the information. It was your intelligence that said, we maybe didn't accomplish what we thought we accomplished. And then we're like, hey, how come your intelligence says that you didn't accomplish what you accomplished? How dare you not talk about the soldiers just to get at Trump? Bro, what the fuck? This administration is incompetent, and they lie more than maybe any administration, and they're thin-skinned. It's the bitchiest of bitches. Why are you guys criticizing us? I don't like it when you criticize us. Shut up. Don't put out the intelligence then. I don't know what they want us to do. They put out the information, we report on the information, and they're like, how dare you? Why can't you be more like Fox and ignore it and just suck our dicks?
They don't care what the world thinks. They want to spin it to try to make him look bad based on a leak. Of course.
Thank you, Chelsea, for helping with the gift goal. FOD City is pissed and swore about the war still going. Frankie said, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I think I got that from Danielle and Terry. There we go.
Of course, we've all seen plenty of leakers. And what do leakers do? They have agendas. And what do? Do they share the whole information or just the part that they want to introduce? And when they introduce that preliminary, a preliminary report that's...
Whose preliminary report? Your preliminary report. Which, by the way, CNN reported it as a preliminary report that could change at any time. Have any of these dipshits read it? Have any of them read the CNN article? It literally says it's a preliminary report, and with further intelligence, it could change. What are you mad about? We just don't like any criticism of Donald Trump. We lose our fucking minds if anybody criticizes Donald Trump.
Deemed to be a low assessment. You know what a low assessment means? Low confidence in the data in that report. And why is there low confidence?
It said that. It said that. Vicky said for 2 rides on the J train.
Because all of the evidence of what was just bombed by 12 30,000-pound bombs is buried under a mountain.
Oh.
Devastated and obliterated.
Oh.
So if you...
Whoa! Well, now what are you saying? Because you said obliterated. Your own intelligence says months worth of damage. You just said there's no way to know. This is the dipshittery. He just said there's no way we can know whether or not we destroyed them because they are buried. And the next sentence he said it was obliterated. How could it be both? We don't know. It's obliterated. What? You can't we don't know and it's obliterated are opposites. Those don't go together. Those are 2 different answers, and you can't mesh them together. Historically, there has never been a more incompetent, unprepared, underprepared, underdeveloped Secretary of Defense than this one, and he spends all of his time playing hyper-partisan games. No Secretary of Defense in the history of our country has ever spoken like this, has ever dick-rode like this, has ever spent 90% of their time on Fox News talking about how people don't like Donald Trump. Why did you guys choose such a fragile little bitch as the Secretary of Defense? Is this giving our military a good name? A guy that goes on TV every day and bitches about how people say mean things. That's who we want leading the military. Just 2 bitches up here. You guys in the media say mean things about us. Shh. Oh well, toughen the fuck up. Toughen the fuck up. Commander-in-Chief, Secretary of Defense, toughen the fuck up. Have thicker skin. Why are you guys such bitches? Why do you guys support such bitches? I've never seen, honestly, if Pete Hegseth represents our military, then what we know about our military is they can do a lot of push-ups and then they're bitches. What if I'm ISIS, I'm like, what if instead of fighting them on the battlefield, we just wrote mean articles about them on Twitter? That's what I would do. Is be like, Pete Hegseth has a receding hairline. You'd be like, I do not have a receding hairline. I comb my hair in this way. This is very normal. I have great hair for my age. And then the military wouldn't do anything. Guys, we are not going to Afghanistan because those people are posting fake news about my hairline. Maybe that's what we ought to do. Just start, like, we should all just create websites from foreign countries making fun of them, and they'll spend all day complaining about fake news from China. Like, this is the whiniest shit I've ever seen.
You want to make an assessment of what happened at Fordo, you better get a big shovel and go really deep, because Iran's nuclear program is obliterated. And somebody...
How do you know that? If it's buried, how do you know that?
Somewhere is trying to leak something to say, oh, with low confidence, we think maybe it's moderate. Those that drop the bombs precisely in the right place know exactly what happened when that exploded.
No, they don't, you dumb bitch. No, they don't. Your own intelligence and what you said 2 minutes ago proves that they don't know exactly what happened. Nobody does. This is crazy. Why is he yelling at them? Why is he yelling at the media? They know exactly what happened. And what happened, we don't know because it's underground. But what we know is it was obliterated. We know exactly what happened. But if we want to find out what happens, we have to dig because we don't know what happens. What is this? What are we talking about here, Pete?
And you know who else knows? Iran. That's why they came to the table right away, because their nuclear capabilities have been set back beyond what they thought were possible because of the courage of a commander-in-chief who led our troops, despite what the fake news wants to say.
But you're not disputing.
Wipe that cum off your back there, Pete, before you go anywhere. That's going to be embarrassing. Amy said, Hegseth, go back to your powder room the taxpayers paid for. Mel said, Iran is part of Project 2025. It's about a mineral they have we need weapons for that we use to get from China. Yeah. And I think I read that one from Chelsea. Let me check comments here too. All those. Okay. Update. All right. Then we're gonna move on. Here's Jason Crow. He actually sits on is it intelligence? I think that's who I think he's on the intelligence committee. I can't remember. Here's Jason Crow, who has actually seen the report. Here's another person to confirm with.
Several people briefed on an early U.S. intel assessment from DIA told CNN that the U.S. strike did not destroy the core components of Iran's nuclear program, likely set the program back, but likely by months, not years. Again, an early assessment can be updated, as you well know. The president pushed back hard this morning, saying he doesn't believe that. And I saw in the Journal that several members of Congress, how they were reporting it, including full committees, have seen or have access to this report.
That's right, Susie, also a veteran.
Have you seen it yet? Have you had a chance to?
I have, and I'm not going to speak to the specific intelligence. All I'm going to say is that Donald Trump has a long history of distorting and putting his own take on U.S. intelligence assessments, regardless of what it actually says. And we are going to see in the days and weeks to come that.
Sorry, I forgot to cue the people in the chat that every time they see a CNN logo, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to this.
Truth and the reality of these reports and these assessments, but Donald Trump's continued distortions about what happened and what didn't happen. That's what he does. He continues to just do whatever he wants to do, which is unfortunate because I went to war 3 times for this country. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, deployed as an Army Ranger, and frankly, we spent 20 years and trillions of dollars at war as a nation. Because the politics drove that decision instead of the intelligence. It's a very dangerous position to be in.
All right. I'm gonna calm down. The news. Who cares what the news said? Listen, I don't know. I swear to God, you guys, your brains are broken. Let me try this again. CNN. Jason Crow. Donald Trump. Pete Hegseth. Marco Rubio, the Pentagon are all saying the exact same thing. That we, as far as we know, we do not know if their nuclear capability has been destroyed. They are all saying the exact same thing. He has destroyed your ability to view something and figure out what the fuck is going on. I swear to God, there's no chance you motherfuckers were this fucking stupid before Donald Trump. I swear to God. They're all saying the same thing. They're all quoting the same report. How the fuck are you taking a side right now? They're all saying the same fucking thing. And you're like, yeah, right, he's lying. Oh, I trust when Trump says it. That's who you've become. You've become a person who can't figure out right now that people from different parties and different news organizations are all saying the same thing because you have been conditioned to plug your ears and say fake news every time you see CNN. You have no idea that they're all saying the exact same thing. Everybody in Washington is saying the exact same thing. I'll show you a Republican. Here's Mark, Wayne, Lee, Harvey, Oswald, McMullins saying the exact same thing.
Report that we are getting from the DIA itself, what it has put together.
You don't know what America's side is. These are all Americans. These are members of Congress. This is America. All of these people are America. Do you think MAGA is all that America is now? That we said that earlier. You guys you're not America first. You're literally Trump first. We're bombing another country while you say America first, and we're doing it for Israel. There's no benefit to us. We're just doing it for Israel. And you're like, America first. We love America. Fuck you. You love Donald Trump. And you're so goddamn up his ass that you don't even know that everybody is saying the same thing. And you're still figuring out a way to argue.
It says the core components of the nuclear program were not destroyed and that neither was the enriched uranium.
Well, Caitlin,
that's more than just the knowledge.
Yeah, but Caitlin, this is a report from DIA. Now, for your listeners, let's break down what DIA is and what DNI is, which is what Tulsi Gabbard, because I think that's important. Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National Intelligence. DIA is the Director, or is the Defense Intelligence Agency. They don't have eyes in the ground, they have eyes in the sky.
Did Mark, Lee, Harvey, Oswald, McMullen just accidentally fuck up Trump's lie? Trump said they didn't get that. Trump said we didn't have that intel from Israel. He said DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, where's she getting her intel? Israel. Yeah. So the assessment that the Pentagon put out says that it was set back a few months, and Israel's intelligence says, you did it, yay!
This is a report that was incomplete, that wasn't supposed to be released, and we don't even know where they were finding their findings because the ICs, the intelligence community that actually have eyes on the ground, eyes on the target, which is where we're getting our initial reports from. Those are the people that were in country. DIA does not have people in country that was providing this assessment.
Just real quick, if you don't know the extent, Pete Hegseth just got done telling us that we don't know the extent until we get a big shovel. You better bring a big shovel. Then how are the people on the ground that are just like watch the bombs? Like, I don't think that's a better source. I think an aerial view would be a better source, but I thought we had to dig it up to figure out what the problem was here. But the sources on the ground are saying something different?
We know that this was a complete success. Now, that success means that our delivery system and what our target was on time and was effectively did exactly what we wanted it to do.
Well, first off, let me say, no one is doubting that the B-2 bombers carried out their mission and struck exactly the targets that they were told to hit. No one is doubting that. The question is the claim being made by the president that it obliterated this. You just said the DIA does not do this, but the DIA is part of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is what carried out these strikes, sir, and the director of the DIA is a 3-star military officer who is the principal advisor to the Secretary of Defense, is he not?
He's just Peg Hegseth's right-hand man. You understand? You want to talk about like supporting the troops? We're discrediting a general. who is Pete Hegseth's right-hand man. We're discrediting Pete Hegseth and a general because Trump misspoke and said they obliterated it. And because in America, in MAGA America, Trump always has to be right. So now they're scrambling to be like, well, I mean, Trump could be right, so I guess Trump's right. Like they're literally, they just told us like, why are you disrespecting the soldiers? Well, are you guys not disrespecting the soldiers right now? You're not disrespecting the intelligence agents. You're not disrespecting generals in our military right now because Trump said it was obliterated without any evidence. Fucking Israel doesn't say it's obliterated. Literally nobody. There's zero intelligence anywhere that says it's obliterated. Just one person said it. It was Trump. It's based on his feelings. And so now we're ignoring intelligence for Trump's feelings.
That doesn't mean that they have eyes on it. Well, our eyes on it did not come from DIA. I was in the
that means
intel.
You just don't trust their report at all?
Absolutely, 100% do not trust this because the report wasn't a collective of
That's pretty disrespectful to our intelligence agents and our military.
ICs, which the ICs, by the way, would go through, which is why I wanted to say this, DNI, which is, it would go through the Director of National Intelligence. For the DIA to put out a report.
By the way, last week, the DNI, when Trump was asked about the DNI, who has, remember, now he's arguing for the DNI. We really should trust the DNI because they have ICs. Well, last week, the DNI, Trump said the DNI couldn't be trusted when they said that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons and was not anywhere close to having nuclear weapons. So last week, our DNI, which said, hey, they're not close, and Netanyahu said they're weeks away, and the DNI said, no, we're not. We're using our sources on the ground, and the sources on the ground say they're not close. Last week, we didn't listen to the DNI. This week, we're listening to the DNI and not the. It seems like no matter what, we're always just going to side with Trump's feelings here, aren't we? Fuck the DNI. In fact, we distrusted the DNI so much last week that they weren't invited into the war room when they were making the decision whether or not to bomb Iran. She wasn't included. They didn't even include her in the decision, in the discussion, nothing. She was gone. She was out of the state. She was on active duty with the National Guard. Didn't even talk to her. Trump said specifically, no, she's wrong. So last week, the DNI can fuck off. This week, we only trust the DNI. Got it.
Without the collective bargaining of all our ICs, as you said, there's 18 of them, and I can assure you, Caitlin, we don't have 18 agencies, intelligence agencies working on Iran. That would be disastrous. We have a few, actually we have less than a few. We have really only one plus our allies that are working in there, and that did not include any of their assessment. So how could you have a complete report given it from their assessment only, and their assessments are only coming from eyes in the sky?
First of all, nobody said it was complete. We read the article. It didn't say it was a complete assessment. It said with new other assessments will come out, and with new assessments, it may change the opinion. But all it reported is what that report said. This is what's crazy about this. And if Trump wasn't such a fucking baby, we wouldn't be talking about it. The report came out. It says what it says. It's our general. It's our Pentagon. Fine. If they're wrong, they're wrong. But then we should probably address why we can't hire good people at the Pentagon. Why is our Pentagon's intelligence so bad? Why is Pete Hegseth's right-hand man so bad at this? Then we've got to start talking about competence, don't we?
Not eyes on the ground.
Well, and we have made clear it's a preliminary report, but this is the only intelligence report that so far has.
Well, then why would you run with it? Because you're assuming. But you're assuming this report is the report, and it is.
No, nobody assumed that. It was very accurate in the way it was written out. They were very careful to say this is not the only report. It's the first report, and there will be more. Like, this is the thing, the way that you guys bend over backwards. And again, the only reason we're having this discussion is because Trump said something that was obviously wrong, and he has never admitted he was wrong about anything ever. Remember when he misspelled coffee? He wrote kafefi, and he clearly meant coffee. But then for like a year, he's like, no, I meant kafefi. It's code word. Dude, how do you look at yourself with any self-respect going on to fillet this fucking moron every day?
absolutely not even close report. Do you know how many intelligence
We have said
agencies
it is one
briefings I have
report,
sat in?
Senator, and you said on armed services, and you just said you do not trust the Defense Intelligence Agency's
What-
report.
No,
is
what
that
I
something
said
that you're going
is-
to bring up with the Pentagon?
No, what I said is I don't trust this report because I have said in briefings now for 12 years.
That's what she just said. you said you don't trust the Pentagon's report. No, I said I don't trust this report. Oh, yeah, that's what she just said. This is how broken we are. He's just going to disagree with whatever. They're saying the same thing. This is just like earlier when everybody's saying the same thing. And we're arguing about saying the same thing. You don't trust this report. No, I don't trust this report. Oh.
I was on the Intel Committee in the House. Not one time did we have DIA ever come in and brief us. That was not where our briefings are
Thanks,
coming
Jen,
from.
for
In
joining
fact,
the Dollar Train.
Go back and see all the intelligence briefings we've had that's been public and been in private that's been released. Have you ever seen DIA one time ever brief Congress? Ever. One time ever brief Congress? No, they have not.
Have you seen intelligence, though, that contradicts?
Well, Hegseth would go through Hegseth. What are we doing? What are we doing? Hegseth would do it. It's his guy. He's the Secretary of Defense. They report he would brief, just like Tulsi Gabbard reports for DNI. I don't know. Is he dumb? Is he just a liar? I don't know. He says a lot of dumb shit. I have this tendency to believe, and he did some MMA fighting. We may have some CTE problems here. I don't know. But like, what is he talking about?
What the DIA is saying so far?
Well, I've seen reporting, not reporting from you, but I've seen reports come out as far as a full briefing. We haven't, as you know, we've already said this. The briefing has been pushed to Thursday, but the initial reports we have 100% contradicts what DIA was saying here. And I'm not saying DIA isn't capable. DIA is capable. I'm saying this report is not an accurate report. I don't even know where this report came from. I don't know who authorized this report or where.
What do you mean you don't know where it came from? DIA, you just said it. I don't know who authorized it. Pete Hegseth. Do you not know how the Pentagon functions? Where did this come from? DIA. Who authorized it? Pete Hegseth. You're a member of Congress, dipshit. You don't know?
They gather their intelligence, but there's no
Yeah,
way. There's multiple people inside DIA, Caitlin. But how did this person that brought this report together? How did they get their information? Where did their information come from? Because it wasn't collective around the ICs.
From our intelligence. It came from the people that we pay to gather intelligence. It probably came from aerial footage. It probably came from sources maybe on the ground. It probably came from a number of things, but the Pentagon. Who the fuck is the Pentagon anyway? What, we're just going to believe the Pentagon now? Who authorized this? They owe Pete Hegseth an apology. It was Pete. Who put Pete Hegseth in charge? Well, that would be Donald Trump. I don't know. Maybe if you guys didn't put dipshits all around you, your intelligence would make sense. First of all, I have no issue with thinking like maybe our intelligence is wrong. Pete Hegseth's a fucking idiot. And I don't trust Pete Hegseth to have good intelligence agents around him. I don't know. I don't know how much movement he's created in that office, but yeah, he's dumb. He's a dumb guy. And this is a dumb guy, and Trump's a dumb guy. There's a lot of dumb guys out there. And this is the incompetence and the lack of like cohesion in our government, specifically our military. God damn, if I'm China or Russia, I'm like, you know what? Maybe now is a good weak point.
As I've said before, not to repeat myself, of gathering the information with individuals that were
Aaron, it's looser. You want me to be looser?
Actually on ground, not the assumption. So I don't know where this report was generated from. I know it was reported out of as a DIA, but why?
Thanks, Robin, for knocking out that gift call. I appreciate you very much. We got that done. You don't have to stop, but we do have the gift goal covered. Now I don't have to make announcements the rest of the time. All right, so what's the proof? What is the proof that they are relying on? What is the proof that they are saying that DIA is wrong. So CNN reported that the DIA intelligence agency stated the U.S. did not destroy main parts. Here is what the White House sent out to reporters today. After this report came out, the White House is saying that the DIA report was wrong. Here's what they sent to reporters this morning. The devastating U.S. strike on Fordow destroyed the site's critical infrastructure and rendered the enrichment facility inoperable. We assess that the American strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, combined with Israeli strikes on other elements of Iran's nuclear program, has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by many years. This achievement can continue indefinitely if Iran does not get access to nuclear material. On behalf of what? On behalf of who? The Israeli Atomic Energy Commission. This administration, he's not a cuck to Bibi. They're not cucks to Israel. Their own intelligence says didn't destroy it. No, I trust Israel. Remember when our intelligence said that Russia interfered in the election, but then Putin's like, no, we didn't. And Trump's like, oh, I trust him. I trust his word on this. He is a cucky little bitch, isn't he? And by the way, what is this? Has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons by many years. This has Trump written all over it. Just tell him nuh-uh. Just tell him nuh-uh. Tell him it's actually years, not months. Are we providing any information here? We're not? Okay, cool. Just Israel said so? All right. For folks, this guy talking has access to classified information, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. Do you have access to classified information? See, this is the problem that we have here. You and I have the same access, and we're only able to talk about what we have access to. And you just believe Trump. That's the difference. I trust Donald Trump. Remember, guys, this guy up here on the screen, he doesn't trust Donald Trump as much as I do. He doesn't have a poster that you definitely shouldn't take a blacklight up to in his room of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not his Lord and Savior. So listen, don't look into this. Don't look at evidence. Don't take the best available evidence that you have and discuss it. Just trust Donald Trump. I don't claim that I do either, bitch. I'm reading what they say. I'm reporting the news. What do you think this is? This is their words. These aren't my words. I didn't make this shit up. These are their words. Like, I swear to God, like, you guys just forgot how to think. We only think what Trump tells us to think. I report what's available. And if you remember at the start of this, I said, this is what we have. There will be new reports. There will be new data. We don't have new data. I'm just telling you that Trump sent this out and said, don't believe that report. Believe Israel. I don't know if the nukes are destroyed, and neither do you. But it's really mixed messaging. When our intelligence says it's not, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump both said it's not multiple times, and that if you wanted to find out, you would need a big fucking shovel. And then they come out and they're like, oh, it actually is destroyed. My problem is not that I know the answer. My problem is they've given us 50 fucking answers. If I were you, I'd be just as frustrated. I'd be like, all right, could you just give us an answer, please? This is very confusing for all of us. All right. Let's see. We got 10 minutes. Let me just get to some Pam Bondi stuff. Here, Pam Bondi went to, I don't know why she's in front of Congress. I assume just to deflect. Pam Bondi legitimately doesn't answer any fucking questions ever. Watch this. This is Madeline Dean. She's a Democrat from Pennsylvania. And again, she's there to present her budget, and she's there to answer questions. These folks are her boss. She keeps saying, she acts like Donald Trump is her boss. She can take orders from Donald Trump, but they have oversight. So they're her boss too. And if you care about America, if you care about transparency, if you're the type of people who thinks the government lies to you, then why are you not demanding that the government tell you the truth and answer questions? I don't care how silly the question is. Answer the fucking question. If they ask you what color your cup that you drank coffee out of that morning was, answer the fucking question. If it's silly, it's silly. But it makes me nervous when you won't answer any questions. Here it is.
Here, You want to protect law enforcement, but your principal, the president, pardoned every single one on January 6th. It rings hollow when you say these words, that if you spit on a police officer, we're going to go after you. Talk to my friends who are Capitol Police officers who were here, 5 of whom are no longer here. They are dead. And this administration, and I guess I want to ask you, did you have any?
Hey, Ryan, while you were calling me stupid, you capitalized stupid and you spelled here wrong. But good job, bud. There's nothing better than somebody calling somebody stupid while misspelling words.
Any advice for the president when he came forward with the blanket pardon on January 20th? What advice did you offer the president?
I am never going to talk about conversations, advice in any way.
Were you asked
I'm
for
never
advice?
going to talk about discussions I've had
Because
or have not had.
You'll
I
remember.
can answer with the President of the United
Yes or no?
States.
Did you give him any advice? Yes or no?
I am not going to discuss any.
I'm not answering questions. Fuck you. We're the transparent. This is the most transparent administration in history. I'd like to ask you a question. No.
Conversations
That's a
that
no.
I have had with it.
And
You just put
your
words in
own
my
word.
mouth. I am
But-
not going to
No,
discuss.
I'm going to reveal your own words.
I am
Just
not
a moment.
going
Please
to
stop.
discuss
Please stop. This
conversations
is my
that
time.
I've had with the President of the United States.
Attorney
you asked
General,
me a question.
I would like to reclaim
and
the
you
last
asked
20
me to
seconds.
answer.
I have asked to reclaim my time. Please put 20 seconds back on the clock.
You have an extra 30.
If the general,
She answered and then answered it again and answered it again with a non-answer. I ask for your consideration
if the
of putting time
gentlelady
on.
will let the witness answer the question, we will.
She answered it by saying no. Okay. The 3 hallmarks of this administration are incompetence, corruption, and cruelty. I'm going to focus today on corruption. And in my mind, there are 2 types of corruption: personal, and then the other I'm going to call public, governmental. Attorney General, have you ever been registered?
She's not going to play dumb games. Here we got Jacob. Hey, yeah, well, the thing is, transparency is really about just like whatever I like. So if my people don't answer questions, I love them. No, listen, you're a bitch, dude. You're a cuck. You're a bitch. You trust your government. I love the government so much. I don't care if they answer questions. Fine, be a cucky little bitch. But you're a cucky little bitch. You just trust the government. I trust them. They don't have to answer questions. That's okay. I just trust the government.
As an agent of a foreign principal under the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
I assume you're talking about when I represented the country of Qatar for a very short time.
The
Hold
answer is
on.
no,
Hold on.
excuse me.
No.
No.
For anti-human trafficking for the World Cup.
That's a lie. She keeps saying this thing and she looks around. She did not lobby on behalf of Qatar for anti-human trafficking. She lobbied on behalf of Qatar to dispel rumors that Qatar abused people. Her job was to come to the government and convince them that the history of Qatar's treatment of women has been fixed now and that they're good now. So it's okay. You can go look at her documents. You can go look at what Qatar hired her to do. It was not about anti-human trafficking. She just knows that this works with Republicans. You guys won't fact check this. You won't look it up. I found no evidence that was her job with Qatar. In fact, there are members of Congress who she lobbied who have said as much, that her job was actually far different than that. It was about investment. It was about changing the image of Qatar so they could invest in the United States. It was not about human trafficking.
Anti-human trafficking
Yes or
for the
no?
World Cup.
Attorney
you can't
General.
put words in my mouth.
No.
You want to talk about incompetence? You're the one that said Joe Biden on PBS was competent. You had to retract those words.
Mr.
So don't
Chairman.
talk to me. Don't insult me publicly.
Oh, she'll take a lot of time to talk about Joe Biden, won't she? But she won't talk about her job. It's the same shit every time. These people are infuriating.
This is
honestly.
so discourteous. This is so outside the committee's guidelines. Taking a personal shot at me while swiping at Biden, very strange and very unprofessional of you.
You're here to answer questions about your job. Why do all of the people in the Trump cabinet act like Fox News hosts? They all like they all sound like shitty TikTok debaters. What about? I sound like every dipshit in the audience. And maybe that's why you guys like them. Like she sounds like a dipshit, and you're like, hey, I'm a dipshit. That sounds like me. I love her.
The answer is yes or no, and the answer is yes. You were registered as a lobbyist for Qatar. Is that correct? Yes. Never mind. Don't answer. Did you disclose that when you went before for the Senate for confirmation? Yes or no?
That's a good point. They did work for Fox. Good point. Yeah.
No, it was not in your documents. The answer is no. President Trump.
Yeah. She lied. She lied. She didn't tell anybody she was a registered lobbyist for Qatar. We found that out later. She lied.
It's okay. It's okay. Everybody lies. What about Joe Biden? Did Joe Biden lie? Did Hunter Biden lie?
You'll never hold anybody accountable. I held Joe Biden accountable, whatever you guys want to say. I know some of you are new. Name a lie Joe Biden told. I'll say that he lied. Name a lie that Donald Trump tells, and you guys are like, no, he didn't do it. Donald Trump would never lie. Yeah, Hunter's laptop. There we go. What about the laptop?
This was discussed at my confirmation hearings in detail.
It was discussed, but you failed to bring up the conflict that you had. President Trump recently announced he'd accept that $400 million Qatar airplane because it was just prettier than the one he was flying around in.
And who? Qatar gives Trump a gift, and then the attorney general who would decide whether or not to investigate that is a lobbyist for Qatar.
Well, there's no problem there. Why would that be a problem? Yeah, this is totally transparent. Why would that be a problem? Taking gifts from foreign agents? And the person who decides whether or not to investigate is a lobbyist for that country who's paid by that country? Nothing to see here.
Is it true that you gave advice that this was legally permissible? Yes or no?
I will not discuss any advice that my Office of Legal Counsel gives to the President of the United States on any matter.
We're not telling. No transparency.
I'm not going to tell you what I do.
It's none of your business. You work for us. You work for us. You took an oath to the Constitution. You have oversight responsibilities here. You're supposed to answer fucking questions. I'm not telling. And Mac is like, yeah, don't tell him anything. Big government, we love big government. We love the deep state. Don't tell us anything. That was weirdly Alex Jones.
When you spoke before the Senate, you said you would ask for ethical advice. Did you recuse yourself from that issue?
And talking about unprofessional, you say the President wanted to
I'm going to do some more whataboutism instead of answering your questions now.
jet because it's pretty.
Excuse
Come
me.
on, this is a Senate. This is
He
a
said it
congressional
himself.
hearing.
He said it himself.
She like, he said it.
I can't believe you would say that
Donald Trump said he'd take it because it's pretty. It's what he said. He said it. Now she's mad. Like, you quote Trump and they're like, that's outrageous. Well, he said it. What do you want us to do? Not quote him? It is outrageous. It was really fucking stupid. This look on your face of how fucking stupid that sounds is the same look we had when we heard him say it, and we're like, God damn, that was stupid. And you guys are like, it's not stupid, it is pretty. And I do want to apologize though, because my initial reaction when he said it was pretty was, what the fuck, that's weird. And when you guys were like, well, it is pretty, he's telling the truth, I didn't think of it that way. And I just want to say, like, I'm on your side now. I agree. I do think that it's pretty. I think it's a very pretty jet. And motherfucker. Did I really put the wrong one up there? Oh, there's two of them. Wait, is this it? God damn it. I had a picture of the jet. Let me see if I can find it. Because I want to see. I just don't think that everybody understands how pretty this jet is. There it is. How are you going to tell me that's not pretty? Can I zoom in? See if I can find a better picture of it. Oh, here it is. Here's him. God, that's awful. You're going to tell me that's not pretty? How's that not a beautiful jet right there? You guys were right. Beautiful. Look, Charles, calm down. But Charles, I just want to everybody who's bringing up Joe Biden right now, I just want to ask you a question. Even if that was true, let's just say that it's true that Joe Biden never answered a question. Does that mean that you just have to be a dipshit? You guys were idiots. You didn't make him answer questions. So as a result, we're not going to make this administration answer any questions. First of all, like Joe Biden did answer questions. He sat for 12 hours for the Her report. 12 hours. He literally answered every question. Donald Trump refused to testify in any of his cases. It's this revisionist history. But even if what you say is true, like, hey, you guys let the government just do whatever they want and you don't offer any pushback, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, are you for? God, it's such a stupid argument. Yeah, you guys are corrupt, so are we. It's so stupid, right? Like, do you understand how stupid that sounds, right? I understand that you're trying to, like, lob grenades at me. You don't know who the fuck I am. You don't know how many times I criticized the Biden administration, which was plenty. Probably not the same things you criticized, but I don't like that he pardoned his son. I didn't like that at all. I criticized that. I don't think Joe Biden was a very good president. I don't think he did much. I think there were a couple things that he gets credit for that were mostly done through Congress, and he signed the bill, and sure, maybe it was auto pen, maybe he was asleep. I don't care. Can we just talk about what's happening right now? What do you want me to say? Joe Biden was incompetent. Who cares? Fine, he was incompetent. He was too old. He didn't know what he was doing. He lied. He pardoned his son. Whatever you want to say. What do I have to say for you guys to give a shit about this? How many things do I need to just say out loud before you'll give a shit about this stuff? What it really is, and you know this, every fucking one of you knows this, you don't have an answer. If you had an answer for it, you wouldn't go to whataboutism. But because you can't figure out why she's not answering questions and she's on your side, you're like, oh, well, you guys are just hypocrites. Just be honest. Did she... Rate thumbs up if she answered any of those questions. Let's see who's honest. Thumbs up in the chat if she answered a single question. If there's a thumbs up, whoever gets a thumbs up, you guys get to make fun of. Let's see. Was that Madeline Dean? Yeah, that was Madeline Dean. Let me go to Representative Morrell, or maybe Senator Morrell. Couple thumbs down. All right, here's Morrell.
In addition to my role here, the committee that I serve on as an authorizer oversees Capitol security as well as federal elections. So I'm closely following the aftermath.
It's not war, but Trump keeps calling it war. Good point, Amy.
Aftermath of January 6th. Recently, several defendants who received presidential pardons related to that day are now arguing in court that the pardon covers crimes like, for instance, illegal firearm possession discovered in a search of an individual's home in California months after January 6th. What's your position on whether the pardons cover these separate offenses?
Let me be clear on this question. See, here's the question. There are people from January 6th, and Trump pardoned them. And it's an acceptable answer, I believe. It's an acceptable answer for Pam Bondi to refuse to answer any questions about the pardons from January 6th. She has no say in that. The president has the power to pardon people. Even if you hate who the president pardoned, the attorney general has nothing to do with that. So I just so we're clear, we're not talking about pardon power. And she knows. And if she doesn't know what I just said, then why am I smarter than our attorney general? What he's asking about is people who committed other crimes before they were pardoned for January 6th, and now they are trying to get their records expunged. Some of them violent criminals are trying to get their entire record expunged, claiming that Trump's pardon for their actions on January 6th get to pardon them for these other activities. Some of these are felons who got access to firearms. Some of these are domestic abuse. Some of these are larceny. Some of these are grand theft. Like, these are serious crimes that they committed. There were people that showed up on January 6th. Anytime you have a group of 100,000 people storming a building or protesting, there's going to be some felons there, right? So some of these people are violent, and he's simply asking, do you think that the pardon of that Trump gave from January 6th should cover these other crimes? Because as attorney general, that's actually relevant, right? The attorney general should have an opinion on whether or not a president pardon you for specific crimes that it makes it a blanket pardon for crimes you committed before. This is a good question. If they were asking her, do you think the president should pardon these people? What's your opinion on these presidential pardons? And she said, I'm not going to talk about that. That would be an acceptable answer. But since they're not asking, do you agree with the pardons? This is a question she should be able to answer, and she should answer.
The pardon power rests with the president, not the Department of Justice, and some of that is
And
pending.
so naturally, this dipshit answers the question that wasn't asked about the presidential powers. Because she will not answer questions. This is not transparent. That is a good question. Does anybody here think that's not a good question? That's not a question that we should have clarity on? Does anybody think that we should not have clarity on whether or not a pardon for a specific crime pardons you for any other crimes you've committed in your life? That's a good question. That's a question that any attorney general should be able to answer. And by the way, when you guys say Biden didn't answer questions, Merrick Garland answered questions. You didn't like some of his answers, but he answered questions. She didn't answer a single fucking question, including this one. And this is a question we all should have an answer to. We deserve an answer. As taxpayers, as American citizens, we deserve an answer. And I think all the Republicans in here probably agree that that's a fair question, and she just didn't answer it.
Litigation, and I cannot discuss pending litigation.
Well, I'm not asking you about who has the right to a pardon. I think as the Department of Justice in February wrote.
No, Jacob, goddamn, dude, you're too stupid for this. I wouldn't blame her if that's the question he asked. That's not the question he asked. He didn't ask if the president has power. He didn't ask about the crime they committed that they were pardoned for. He asked if the pardon applies to other crimes. And she said, the power of the pardon rests with the president. I think you're too dumb, dude. I think you're too dumb for this conversation. You got to go back to like Ben Shapiro or something. Go listen to Charlie Kirk rail on Muslims.
The pardon is an act of grace which removes the punishment from a crime a person has committed. It further said, in its effect, the granting of a pardon is in no sense the overturning of a judgment of conviction.
Thanks, Johnny.
It is an executive action that mitigates or sets aside punishment. So as the chief law enforcement officer, what's your opinion? Not the president's power of whether he can offer a pardon. That's pretty clear in the Constitution. But for crimes committed unrelated to January 6th, would you suggest that the pardons would cover activities or crimes potentially committed outside of that by the same person?
Now he asks it differently, more detailed. Very simply, do you believe that the pardons crimes that happened outside of that incident?
Well, I don't know if you're referring to Joe Biden pardoning his son after he said he would not pardon Hunter Biden.
What?
No, I actually referred to...
Honestly, what the fuck? It's such a fair question. Joe Biden. What are we doing? It's the attorney fucking general. You guys cannot be happy with this. There's no way you're happy with this level of non-transparency. That's fucking insane. That's an insane response to that question. She's reading it. She literally, they all have note cards and they read prepared statements and they're told don't answer any questions.
January 6th. I'm sorry.
All the sentences that the people that were on death row, I've met with those families.
She's literally reading the prepared answers. She will not answer a single question. This is what you want out of your government, Republicans? People who won't answer questions? That's an important thing for you to know. It's an important thing for me to know. This isn't a partisan question. This shows just how little they care about the powers, the powers of Congress, the powers of the judicial branch. They are completely beholden to Donald Trump. And even something innocuous like this that really has no bearing on whether or not Trump is good or bad, this has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Honestly, it has everything to do with people trying to use the pardon he gave them for other crimes, which I don't think he would support. I don't think any of you would support that. Why can't she say it? Why can't she say that? Is it really too much that we're asking for an attorney general to answer one question? Politics, calm down. This is the crap. This isn't politics. Jesus fuck. She's not a politician. God damn, man. You get lied to your face. Like, I don't know, like, what kind of abusive relationships you're in. She's not a politician. She is not an elected leader. She is an appointee. Her job is to answer these fucking questions, and that's her only job. Right now, this is her only job, not a politician. You guys will cut
I don't care if the government's transparent because they're not transparent. I'm just going to keep ignoring it.
Fucking blows my mind.
All of those sentences were commuted. I'm not going to comment on pardons on either side of the aisle.
So, well, I'm not asking about either side. I'm asking, you're the chief law enforcement officer in the United States. You have a responsibility directly, but you swore an oath to the Constitution, not the president. Want to know what your views are on the extent to which pardons cover potential crimes committed by individuals who've been pardoned but unrelated to January 6th.
Do you mean the ones that were done by the auto pen? I'm not going to discuss
right.
anything that
Mr.
could
Chairman,
be or not.
Joke. The auto pen? What's up, Jen? Jen? Am I crazy? Did I not hear Jen jump in?
Respectfully, you know, Ms. DeLauro accused you of filibustering. I think that's the height of filibustering. This is a serious, serious topic. And for you to suggest that you don't have an opinion or to divert to other things that have nothing to do with January 6 pardons, I think is frankly demeaning to your responsibilities and your job. With that, I'll yield back.
As a country, it's just fucking embarrassing. Tracy said for calling drunk Seth dipshit dick sucker. I don't remember saying that. All right. A lot of questions. You were hearing things? Oh, I swear I heard you cut in. Sorry. Maybe it was just part of the audio. Maybe I heard somebody else on a microphone or something. I thought it was Jen. All right. That's where we're going to end it today. We'll be back tomorrow morning and every morning, weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time here on TikTok. I hope that I have a couple of announcements for you guys tomorrow regarding not only some debates, but then some member-only events coming up. Make sure if you want to be invited to those member-only events, you are a paid subscriber either on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, and we'll get you into those events. Other than that, there's merch in our bio. We have Cameo, and make sure you're following us and engaging with our content everywhere else. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Do I have any other ones? I don't know if I have any other ones. I think that's it. All right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool, and have a great summer.